Hello and welcome back to LCK Challenger League. We are here live at WDG Esports Studio. I'm Valdez, with me is Wolf. And we're only back, of course, because Queen Derpy said, please come back. So that's the only reason. We wouldn't be here unless that happened. So you might as well thank that person for our presence.
Your dads are back.
Yeah. It wasn't the timer nor the producer telling us to sit back down. It was that person in the chat. So
I like to think that you and I are the dads of Twitch chat, and Atlas and Chronicler are the uncles of Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they the dads of YouTube chat then?
Yes.
Yes,
okay. That's how it works.
Yeah. Does that make us the uncles of YouTube chat then?
Yes.
That would make sense.
I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm the disappointed uncle, but you guys are turning it around. You'll turn it around.
I'm kind of just the uncle that kind of stays away mostly. You don't see much of him. YouTube chat is adopted when we are here. So that's the way it goes.
I'm a little bit overbearing. You know, I'm always checking in on YouTube chat. I'm like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
Atlas and Chronicler raising you right?
I think they're doing a better job nowadays, so that's the way it goes. Wolf is the uncle that plays Fire Emblem.
It's true.
He was just playing Fire Emblem.
I was
just a moment ago.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, though. This Engage game, you know, it's got some good parts and some parts that are not good.
Okay. Interesting way to describe it.
It just makes me want to play the old ones. You know, it's somewhat honoring the traditions that have been in the Fire Emblem games for like 30 years. And it's got the old characters, and I'm like, I just want to play the old characters. But anyway, let's focus in on this for a second here, because we are sitting at a battle for third place here. That's going to be the matchup we have coming up. Hanwha Life Esports versus KT Rolster, both at 3-1. Hanwha Life having that one extra buffer game win, putting them at a +4 ahead of KT's +3. But a win tonight would push one of these teams potentially past T1, in fact, depending on the scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can happen. We could even have KT, if they win 2-0, it would be tied with T1. If Hanwha Life win 2-0, they would get ahead of T1. So, yeah. What's your expectation coming into this one, Wolf? You think?
I'm leaning towards KT Rolster. I think they've had overall stronger decision-making. I think Castle is kind of turned it around on the top side. But Hanwha Life, obviously in terms of standings, is the stronger team and has been a really good team too. Both of these teams, I feel like, are really difficult to criticize. Like, they're just one tiny tier, I think, below T1. And they both don't have the glaring issues we saw in our previous series, for example, where there's like a lot of macro problems, a lot of missed win conditions. Let's just say these guys are much more LCK ready. I think that we could see some movement upwards or sideways to another league like the LJL or something. But these guys have some real potential, and they're kind of ready to be tested, I feel, more than some of the players on the bottom side of the standings.
Yeah, it's all very important, but more importantly, E43 from YouTube chat asks, what's your favorite pizza? Funnily enough, Wolf and I just had pizza. We have pizza every time we do challengers.
It's a tradition now.
I don't know, but it just became a thing. On week 1, we're like, pizza's easy. Week 2, we're like, well, that was fine. Let's do that again. Let's not have to think about it. And then week 3, we're like, well, now it's a thing, because we're going to get it again, and now it's a thing.
So in Korea, the safest thing to do with pizza is always just to get a pepperoni pizza, because otherwise you just really don't know. Like, if you get a cheese pizza, it might not have sauce. If you get just a combination pizza, could have sweet potatoes on it. You don't know.
Yeah, corn,
onions underneath the cheese. You just can't see it coming. I've seen mushrooms under the cheese hiding in there.
Oh no!
I mean, I like mushrooms.
That's okay,
so that's fine,
but not if you didn't order them.
We joked about how Lure is Samdi imposter, but this roster has serious fashion.
There
right?
it is.
The hair game is definitely strong for Hanwha Life Esports. I think this roster...
Absolutely. Rooster is my favorite hair of the entire league.
Easily. Now, KT Rolster so far has been the hardest team to cast, because every time Rebel does something, Valdez calls him Reble.
Yeah.
And
Reble.
every time we talked about this player, the former Breon player, Feisty, in the past, we called him Feisty, so it's like really tricky to start calling him Feisty, which is what his name really is, even though he pronounces it differently in Korean. But the best part about this roster is that there's a player called Hype. terms of the names.
Yeah,
and he's been pretty good. He might
Yeah.
even be our key player matchup today. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Him against Romer should be a pretty fun one. There's Rooster's hair once again, just kind of taking away my focus. I just can't help it. No water spills today, no heat pack explosions just yet.
Not yet.
What about taking corn on pizza to the next level, though? Popcorn pizza.
Definitely not it.
No.
And it is going to be the lure hype matchup here for the bottom side key player matchup. Both of these players have looked really good on scaling 80 carries. You see the Zeri is the most picked champion of both of these players at 4-0 for lure. Hype hasn't had as much success on, but he's picked it up a lot. He's taken that risk of trying to scale up. And we've seen both players pick up the Ashe just one game, so both of them were wins. So I think both teams will be banning that one away.
Ashe is OP right now, so just ban her away. And outside of that, everything's kind of up in the air. You can leave the Caitlyn, you can leave the Lucianami, the Zeri. Those are very common. The Varus, a little bit less common because sometimes it does get banned. But yeah, I think this is a very nice key position matchup we have here.
Yeah, you could see the stats are very similar for both players as well. They're both basically at the same point in the standings. CS per minute sitting nearly 10, which is the ideal number you want to have as an 80 carry, where you're basically soaking money in lane and then going mid and constantly not missing waves. It means your team has a lot of control, so you can farm that up. Very important for a Zeri player. Again, both these players very good at Zeri. DPM a little bit higher for Hype, and I think that's what's part of what's being highlighted here is his stats look slightly better, but I think the difference is so negligible in terms of what we're talking about that I think it's going to be a good matchup, and what matchup we see in the bottom 2v2 is going to dictate a lot of where these two players' power level is.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have KFC in Korea.
Yes.
There is one at one of the most common, or most popular, I should say, subway stops in Seoul. That would be Hongdae Station.
Exit 9.
Yeah, if you want to go there, you can. It's also in Itaewon. So I don't know all of the locations, but those are the two.
Valdez chuckled.
The two, yeah. Said the narrator. Yeah, I mean, those are the two most famous locations, I think. But yeah, just eat Korean fried chicken. It's better. KFC is like...
It's the wrong K, isn't it, Valdez?
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't...
KR greater than KY.
Yeah, there you go. For one thing, not for the bourbon. For that, it would be the opposite.
Yes, that's true.
So that's one thing
that is true.
Kentucky does have over Korea.
Big win.
If we're making comparisons.
Big win for Kentucky. 1-1. We'll have to break the tie later, chat.
Yeah.
You guys can figure out the way.
Who else has got some other ideas?
I'm from Georgia, and Valdez is from New York.
Yeah. From New York City and then Long Island.
Not from the short one.
No, not from Short Island, definitely. Otherwise known as Rhode Island. It's close by. But
Also not an island.
Does Korea have Mickey D's? Yes. It is better than Mickey D's in the States because they have better ingredients.
Yep. It's more expensive as a result, but I'll take that trade-off.
Yep. We do have a draft. It popped its head up, but noticed we were talking about not League of Legends, so it popped its head back down. But now it's back, and it's like, okay, guys, I really got to start the game now. So this time we're going to let it, begin because, of course, casters are the ones that control if the game starts or not. And Ashe is banned, unsurprisingly, by the red team.
Yep. Don't want to let that first pick Ashe through. The Ryze ban is interesting. It really does kind of scream, I'm looking for a Lucian lane here on the bottom side. If it's left open, could be a Varus pickup here too for that BU1. As Maokai is just too strong right now to be left open. We see Maokai's win rate is very high across all regions. He's just too flexible. He himself is not the problem, but he empowers so many things that is just such a great blind first pick.
Yeah.
The Elise ban makes me change my tune about the Lucian first pick, I'd say a little bit. Might be that Varus we were talking about.
Or the Gerald in the bottom lane, a.k.a. Zeri.
Could be.
Zeriumi.
They want to play blue side Zeri. Well, with this Lucian ban, it's a very easy call.
Yeah. You might find yourself playing into Varus and Heimerdinger, as did happen in the first game of the last series.
Yeah, or like a Varus, Karma, another option. See what they do decide.
Oh, do you hear this music? It's like, it was going crazy there for a second.
Yeah, we did
was like getting a little bit too hype. I don't know.
We went very, we turned the guitar sound effects up big time. Handshake? Any handshakers?
Any handshakers in the chat?
HLE? KT? Handshake meme? On the bottom, scaling 80 carries.
Yeah. So you think it's Sivir here for Lure?
I think it's almost certainly going to be Sivir. Jin Yuumi, we have seen, it was actually played yesterday in Challengers, I believe by D+, but I can't remember exactly which team did, but it's not as strong as the Sivir initially picked up here. Vi, also going to be a great pickup here versus the Zeri, specifically that they opted into here, Yuumi-less. So, you know, the Yuumi gives you a lot more escapability against that Vi ult. You're still going to get caught by it, but it means the Vi is where she doesn't want to be if she does ult you. But now that you have the Yuumi on your side, feels less bad.
Yep.
Will be the Lulu, unsurprisingly.
This draft, we've seen it many times before. Sometimes it's a Sejuani instead of a Vi. Sometimes the Maokai sneaks through. But that's basically it. This is just what we get. The handshake is real. The Renekton gets banned, even with the Elise off the cards, but Renekton's just strong in general. And the classic blue side second phase Kassadin ban.
Yep. Very common. See if we see a ban on any of the side laning Jax or Fiora here. Cassante is still open, was banned every game in the first phase of the last series, so in this game, definitely a pick that I think will come through for either Rooster or Castle. Castle has picked priority if that one is left open. And you can play Gnar easily with Hanalife's comp, unless I think this will probably force a Cassante response ban, which opens up a lot of mid picks like Sylas.
Yeah, they definitely should, I would imagine, here. Otherwise, Castle will be playing Cassante for the third time. Let's see if they do it, or if they ban something like the Lissandra.
Lissandra into the Yuumi comp?
They want to play Ahri with this Vi.
Yeah, that's...
But that's the freest Cassante of all time.
Yeah, that's the freest Cassante of all time. But they can play Jax into it, have a bad time. We have seen it. That might happen to you, Valdez.
Cassante counter.
We've seen this in the LEC.
Yeah.
It is a very strong pick, and a lot of people don't know the matchup very well because Darius has been so non-meta for so long. I mean, it's kind of one of those trap picks for in high elos you can play it, but when you get to the highest, it becomes a little bit less viable in a lot of matchups, but still an option here as they will lock in the Ahri.
Yep. That seems pretty obvious with the Vi and, of course, the Lissandra ban.
And there's the Jax you hate so much, Valdez. Could have been Darius, could have been so fun, but nope, it's going to be Jax.
Jax gets dunked on early if you don't play perfectly, so we'll see if Rooster's got it in him to not die that much.
All right, Feisty living up to his name here, going to lock in the LeBlanc, which has kind of been a older soft counter to the Ahri when Ahri, and I say older, when Ahri became popular again after her Bidscope update last year, then LeBlanc and Vex became popular again. So you couldn't ban the Gnar and the Ahri here, and when the Lissandra ban came through, you're like, uh-oh, this is what it's going to be, but we're not going to pick that one up. We want the Cassante instead. So the drafts we end up with here, a pick-based comp here for Hanalife Esports has a lot of late-game damage, and then KT also have a lot of pick potential with this LeBlanc. They have better engage for team fights and a lot of good peel for the Zeri. The one thing that really, I think, stands out for me in this game for how you can really differentiate these two teams is how well Rooster plays the Jax and the Cassante, because we have seen in the LCK, it gets hard early. It doesn't always get better until very late in the game, and if your team is behind by that point, it might not matter at all. So a big risk to go for this Jax pick. I think not as risky as the Darius pick, which can be a lot more all-in, but it would have been fun.
It's okay. Rooster still has the best hair in the league, so he's got that going for him. He's also got a team full of great hair that is unfortunately a little bit downplayed just because of how good Rooster's hair is. I think it's a little bit unfair to Roamer, who's also got fantastic hair. Even Lure's gone for the, the little bit of a wild look with the blonde, but unfortunately Rooster just takes away all the attention.
Yeah. Valdez, is this the non-official LCK why the player name seems weird to me?
It's the Challenger League, and Faker is farming camels with Chovy in New Zealand, in case you were wondering, because you probably are, if you're asking if this is the non-official LCK. It is the Challenger League. But yes, I will leave the rest to you. Guys, we are ready to jump onto the Rift here for game number 1. Let's do it.
Do it. Big doo-doo fans here in the chat. If you know, you know.
You know. I know.
We know.
Someone in the YouTube chat said dun dun dun.
Former Nongshim Challengers player.
Yeah,
just kind of
I see.
a little bit misspelled, but
it's okay. Close enough.
Sometimes you forget what the spam is. Let's look at these runes. Valdez, Grasp Cassante.
Yep.
Yeah. Flash Cassante as well. Counter Strike.
I kind of still like the Ghost. I don't know.
I do too, because Cassante, if he does not have an opportunity to hit his Q3, you can't do anything. He can't kill anybody. But if you have Ghost, you can kind of force it. And even if you miss it, you might still catch somebody and kill them. Counter Strike first. Good trade. Ooh, that's an unfortunate miss. If he hits that, proc his passive can trade a decent amount of that health back. Not today. It's okay, they got Doran shields. They'll be alright. They'll be alright. It's fine.
They'll be fine.
We're watching the top matchup. Thank you, observers.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know, like, I thought the top lane didn't matter, but Yundo's trying to teach me a new story.
Well, here's the thing, because the bottom lane usually matters a lot, but in this game, it's not going to matter for a while. And he's gotten 2 big counter strikes off, and Castle with no Ghost, I guess he just can't get away.
Yeah. Well.
Sorry, just my watch was harassing me.
Yeah.
My watch was like, you've stood up 12 times today. I'm like, I'm sitting right now, though, so I think something's going on.
Does it actually congratulate you for standing 12 times? Is that
well,
like
once per hour? It's a thing, Valdez. It's not what I love about my watch that much, but it is a weird thing where it encourages you to make sure you're not sitting.
Yeah, I mean
for more, like you at least stand up once an hour.
That's fine. That's good, but like, why are our standards so low that it's only 12 an hour, 12 a day? Like, really? Or once an hour or whatever? Feisty is really trying to bait this one in, but it's not. Okay, he's getting pretty close. It actually might work to flash forward, and it is a perfect bait, as Feisty will live to tell the tale.
Bit of an aggressive play here from Roamer, looking for the all-in, and he has teleport, so he's not going to lose that much minion money here, but a trade of flashes on with a champion that needs her flash more than LeBlanc does feel bad. It's so funny how
Could have brought Ghosts here.
Cassante needs the turret. Like, that's it. All of these matchups that he plays, outside of like the Gnar matchup or all of the melee matchups he plays, his kit like uses the turret. As when the chains miss and he gets the electrocute proc here, charm, feels like, okay, I got this, identifies which clone is the real one, and then just gets hit by Hambak here. 2 flashes for 1, so you will feel good about that one, but in the mid lane, you're feeling much less good about losing your flash versus LeBlanc, who has distortion and isn't as reliant on the flash.
Yeah. It was a really clean bait. I think that in the LCK you might see some of the players kind of like take the good trade and back off earlier and be like, this doesn't look real. Like, it looks like you're trying to bait me. As Feisty, after he stayed after the clone, that one was a little bit suspicious, but Roamer could not help himself. But who could blame him?
Who could blame him?
Definitely not me.
Not us.
I wouldn't blame him.
Someone else went. YouTube chat might, but
not Twitch chat. You think Twitch chat wouldn't blame him?
I think Twitch chat would be pretty understanding of the situation.
Yeah. Seems reasonable. I like that take.
I am really the most overbearing, like obnoxious uncle of YouTube chat. I'm like, YouTube chat. I'm also like the gossipy uncle. I'm like, looks like YouTube chat's not doing that well these days. Like, anybody checked up on YouTube chat?
I heard he's not getting good grades nowadays. I'm just talking to their parents, Atlas and Chronicler.
Heard YouTube chat was spamming some links recently.
Yeah.
okay.
worried about them, you know.
Yeah, just I am concerned. It's definitely not about the gossip.
Concerned, overbearing, gossipy uncle is Wolf. That's why he's gossipy. He's trying to get someone to do something about it, but he doesn't want to be the guy and take responsibility.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, over here on the bottom side of the map, we do have a bit of a group up for Drake. Be an early take if it does come through. It'll be very difficult to execute this versus a Sivir in the early game. And Sivir obviously scales very well, but has a little bit more power in the early to mid than a Zeri does, depending on the situation. But generally speaking, those autos hit hard, especially when Kraken Slayer is done. So we'll have a Noon Quiver here for Lure versus Berserker Greaves for Hype.
YouTube chat asks, did the Humble Life Esports mid laner change? I have news for you. Okay, Chain's going to land here. Roamer actually in a little bit of trouble, but he will be fine.
Yep. The LCK Humble Life Esports mid laner changed to Zeka.
Yes. And Faker is farming camels with Jovi in New Zealand. So just in case you were wondering, because I figure you might be.
And a serious answer too, though, it did change for the season. I actually don't remember who the mid laner was before Roamer, but I don't think Roamer was on Humble Life. I think he was on... Whose team was he on? I know he was on a different... If I'm remembering correctly, Roamer was on a different squad last season. So if you're asking a question in regards to a non-Chovy player, then...
I just assumed, you know.
It's been 2 years, okay? He's been on Gen.G for a while, all right? And Karis is on Bro.
He is. On the main squad in the LCK.
Yeah.
So there you go. And yes, this once again, this is Challenger League. And we're going to be kind of hanging out, you know, outside of that one bait, that one great bait mate. That was okay, well, and it seems like Hype heard me. He's trying to hype up the cast as Lure's going to get pretty low, and Hype is extremely fast because he had Whimsy, and looks like he's taken Ghost in this game alongside of Lure, so he's just going to back away. Oh wait, no, was it Cleanse? It's like so far, no, okay, Hype's got Ghost.
Yeah. Ghost versus Ghost.
Oh, okay.
It's the old Sivir Zeri, Ghosty.
That makes sense.
Ghosty Ghost. So 2 Ghosts expended. Yeah, Valdez, he's very close to the chat over there, and you know he's looking over here with me to see what summoner spells are used and stuff. Okay, Guwon has 6. I don't think he's going to be looking for a pick mid or anything like that. They're starting this Herald up, and Hambak a little bit behind in experience actually, not able to get 6 until this very moment. But there's no setup to contest.
And if Ice is going in here, this is a good trade to take while this is being taken, trying to get some priority. He's got Hambak with him, and it looks like even though they were on Vision, they're just going to give this one away. Doesn't look like KT wanted to challenge them at that objective. I think level 6 Vi Ahri is probably a good reason not to fight.
Yeah, I mean, even with, excuse me, with Wukong hitting 6, by the time he had it, it was very late, and they didn't have a setup to actually put their AD carry in there and look for a team fight. Because Wukong, he can knock everybody up, but he needs some follow-up damage. You're a LeBlanc. Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. Shifo he has the cast muted, but he told the idiot casters to focus on the game. Maybe
he wanted to mute
happens.
before he chatted, so he knew that he's like, I muted them.
Yeah, he wanted to show
listening.
us that we're muted, so he doesn't get to hear our response. It's like someone who tries to like insult someone, but then immediately ignores. You know, like in a video game or something, just like immediately puts them on ignore. Doesn't even give them a chance to respond. Like, come on.
Misplay.
You gotta give us a chance to retort. Otherwise, like, what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
You can't be scared of the retort. Doesn't make any sense. As Hype is going to be ulted here by the Vi, but he still does have Flash, so not going to be a kill here for Humble Life Esports.
Nope. Not going to be a plate for Roamer, as we pointed out and showed just a moments ago either. A little bit unfortunate that the Herald is committed to him and he doesn't get the full value out of it. Definitely going to be a feels bad man. It's a lot of gold tossed to the nether. And we do see the Dark Seal picked up here for Feisty. So hoping that he's going to snowball this one, and that is what LeBlanc loves to do if she can get ahead. But I need to take some objective fights here first. Tough to do when That was really nice threat there from Hanbok. Look at the ult. It's really difficult to do with a Zeri comp, though. You know, we see a lot of LeBlanc work with champions like the Aphelios or the Jinx, where you're kind of pick-based a lot of the time. But in this meta, which is kind of a mid-counter pick that we see, very rarely Showmaker picked it up. You know, it was kind of a stompy game. Not too much to write home about with that one. In this game, the opportunities have been there for Feisty to get ahead early, but hasn't been able to get a kill. Just the assist from that earlier time with the bait. Settle down, chat. Settle down, chat. Settle down.
Shivo has repented and has said sorry to Quinthanadolia. Good job. He can't hear us, though, because he has us muted. Well, Lure decided that he's had enough, and he has left.
Peacing out, huh?
Yeah, you know, it's just sometimes... Oh, we get the big zoom in. It's like, this is the guy.
Well, Kespa found out Samdi is actually cosplaying in here. You can't play in challengers without being registered officially, so they're doing some investigations.
Hold on, let me run out of the room during this pause and ban Shivo. No, I don't have that power yet, unfortunately. Maybe in the future.
So I got the update from Yundo himself, the actual real Yundo, because we're tight, we talk all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to hang out with him in the parking lot later because we're cool friends like that. But he told me that Lure's screen froze, so not a ideal situation. And then we got the update from our other producer that is a device issue. A screen freeze.
Device issue. People are calling out Shivo now. You gotta unmute him. Yeah, you gotta let us get our retort in. Otherwise, what's the fun?
Yeah.
Where's the fun in that?
We like to retort. I do think, though, Valdez, sometimes the mute thing is broken, like the display. Or somebody might have two Twitch chats open and like one is muted because they heard a sound and then they opened a new tab and then it shows they're muted, because I've seen people react to sick plays in Twitch chat while they have the video muted, and I'm like, well, that's clearly not possible, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's okay. Maybe he'll figure it out for game 2.
Okay.
Whatever the issue is. But Laura's figured out whatever was going on with his frozen screen. Seems like just a quick restart was all that was necessary.
He's back with a Kraken Slayer. And this is the first spike in the Sivir Zeri matchup where you're actually much stronger than the Zeri, even when Zeri picks up her shield bow.
Castle's freezing the wave.
Yeah, he's freezing it because that's where Cassante has kill pressure, because he uses the turret to kill people.
Very smart. Guwon is back. Hype still does not have flash. And that means he can just be there and threaten. But immediately a rotation is coming down from KT. They're trying to isolate Guwon here, but it is not going to work. Sambok will be here. There is a Drake, an Ocean Drake.
This is definitely a fight that Hanwha Life Esports, if they could get this Ahri in a position, could look to take. And Rooster does have teleport if you wanted to come down here. We want to have a full commitment. But I do not think they should be giving this one up to KT. 2 Drake lead would be massive for them. And this is where Sivir is at her strongest versus Zeri. She has no shield bow. You do have the Kraken Slayer, so unless LeBlanc comes in here and causes problems, which is, again, difficult without her Mythic online, should be kind of free. And it looks like that is kind of been sussed out here eventually by Hanwha Life Esports. Hanbok wants to look for the flank. Ult. Flash available.
Seems a little late to go in on this one, as he is just going to be 100-0 potentially. He does get the Cyclone off and will get eventually taken out, as Guwon will live with the survivability of the Yuumi, and it will be enough as Feisty's clone perhaps just baiting Guwon in there a little bit. But Hanwha Life Esports do get the better of this. They get the Drake, and they get the kill onto the Wukong.
Shivo, man.
Shifo's like one of those, like, it's like r/I'm the main character. It's like everything is about him. Like, cool story. We didn't really care whether we were moved or not.
Never change. Notice how much damage Lure gets done to Zeri here on the top side of this as the shield.
Redemption arc.
Redemption arc.
For one of our best chatters, perhaps Shivo can redeem himself. We'll see, though. So far, he has not.
I think a bunch of people testing that theory I was talking about, where if you have two Twitch chats.
Next time Atlas and Chronicler are casting, just everybody put on the mute one.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god, this could be our new inside joke. All right, so next week, guys. Next week on Tuesday, we'll remind everyone on Monday. Next week, just everybody have two Twitch chats open so you can have the mute icon there. Just make it seem like nobody's listening. It's a perfect
I think you can. You don't even have to have two Twitch chats. You can just put it on the badge, like they're saying. You know, just put on.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you just put on the mute badge, and it's like, okay. As we might have another fight here, the RE buy turning out to be a big issue that KT, they did kind of ignore it in the draft. Kind of let this happen, as I'm not sure what's going on here. Just LeBlanc things, I guess. And HLE have really been making that, they've been putting that to good use, and RE doesn't even have a single item yet, so that's nice.
Yeah. Very successful so far. Humbug looking for the angle.
Trying to get on top of the Sivir, generally not a good idea, especially with the Yuumi nearby, as Feisty is desperately trying to take down the Sivir. The Sivir has survived, but Humbug will survive as well. As a nice little stun comes in from Castle, but he goes miles deep into this one, probably a little bit too far, even though you are Cassante.
We use kilometers in this country, Valdez.
Absolutely.
Feisty!
Feisty!
Oh, Yuumi OP! Call Freak! Push the patch schedule up! Oh my god, so silly. I feel like, I don't, did he like stop walking or something? It looked like he was out of range and then he just died anyways.
Just Yuumi's OP.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation.
So the idea of catching a Sivir here is that yes, she has Spell Shield, but you can't really Spell Shield Cyclone. So she's in a lot of ways a good target here. But flashing instantly out of the Cyclone here, great reaction time from Lure, has a Yuumi on top of him so he can get out of there. Then does so much damage in the follow-up here. Look at how untouched he is while the rest of the CC comes through. This was definitely a call you could make. And I've been like Castle's biggest fan, but that was unfortunately not the play, as this was a great charm setup here. Yuumi attached. Here we go. Just prowl. Oh, no, yeah, he was too close.
Yep, just a bit. And Guan gave his life to make that all happen. He tried to save the Sivir, and he was, you know, he did get focused down, but it kind of forced KT to overextend. I mean, that's kind of the nature of challengers, right? It's like, well, and all of this happens. I mean, HLE now ahead by 1.5 thousand gold.
Chat's getting in there, man. Chat's trying to meme us, dude.
Sounds to me like Valdez and Wolf walked off set.
This is so good, dude. Dude, Twitch chat is so smart, man. I'm so proud of Twitch chat. They're growing up so fast.
YouTube chat doesn't even know what we're talking
YouTube
about.
chat, meanwhile, is like, you know, there's still some maturing to go, but like, you know, some people are late starters, you know, late bloomers.
We always love to compare our kid to other kids, right, don't we?
Okay, well, it's not a fun time for KT Rolster right now. Still no Mythic here for Feisty. Just waiting for that one. No Dark Seal stacks.
Game is so much better muted. Why Omega Lol YouTube chat?
The guy's name is Megalol also in the chat.
And he's got the Mega Lol picture as well. Is this live? No, we're still recorded. Yeah, we are AI casters.
We can predict what chat will say because we know them so well. So we just say it ahead of time, the right specific time.
Casters is like Yuumi now useless.
What?
I don't know what he's trying to say, dude.
All right, so here comes KT, grouping up on Drake. It's Mountain Soul, so getting this lead is going to be pretty massive. It's a 1-to-1 start here. Zeri definitely can be set up very well by the Wukong here, but they started Drake first, so Hype needs to sit very far back here. Even a few autos coming through from Lure can ruin it.
Uh-oh, here we go. They get on in there and immediately get blown up. Humbug, unfortunately, just not tanky enough to make a play like that happen. As in goes Castle, though, he's doing a great job frontlining in the pit and actually gonna nearly wipe down Homolife, but the vision in the brush is going to get the best of Feisty. And the cleanup was there on the backside, although Hype is still here. A massive charm again from Romer, as this guy is having a day out on the Ahri, and an extremely messy fight will just barely go in the hands of Hanwha, but the Drake did go the way of KT.
Feisty, man, he's been so close to greatness, I feel like, in this game. Obviously, that nice bait setup he had early on, at like level 2, level 3 was quite successful, but he chases really deep here. And the Wukong engage is just really optimistic, let's say. He's just chain CC, but then a lot of the resources are used, so Castle says, hey, they don't have any CC for me, I'm going to pull them in and look for this fight. And then watch this flash over the wall, but then flashes just into the brush, and Feisty can't get him.
Yep.
Just, like, when I watched it the first time until I realized, like, the first thought I had in my brain is, like, why flash? You're already over the wall, he's long, but he gets into the brush, stays alive. Clean gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, not so much the full fight, but from Romer specifically.
Yeah, I mean, if if they end up winning, I will be voting for Romer almost definitely.
Almost defiantly.
Almost defiantly, as even if I am the only one, I will defiantly vote for Romer. And definitively, he is the only choice in my mind.
Yeah. There's no other, like, there's no other defs.
Deft is farming a
almost defeatedly. Well?
How to get the muted icon? Just mute the stream.
Stream chat, dude. They just...
Stream is over. You're gonna start like trolling our mods. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, are they muted?"
Report the mods.
Yeah. Shifo said he banned the casters. Maybe he can ban the mods too. He's a really powerful chatter, from what I can tell. He's quite based.
Okay, hold on. This is a potential trap setup here. Not gonna actually go in. I thought Homolife Esports were trying to collapse on top side. I'm like, don't chase Feisty and then walk into this trap. Well, you have no vision. Just let Romer handle that on his own. He's Ahri, great side laning champion, especially from a head like this. Ahri is going to be able to do a ton in a side lane and then can just easily escape if there's a commitment. And yes, the LeBlanc can crush Ahri if the right items, the right setup can land the chains, but so far it has not been Feisty's days. Yeah, a few -1s maybe. It's all right.
Yeah, also the turret survived on seemingly -1 health. But when do you think we get the Magi's here for Romer? Do you think he's going to pick it up soon? Maybe third item? He's got 10 stacks.
It's hard to say because I think it will be after the next one. Like, it will be after the next one-team fight. If there is not another one-team fight, he probably dies and sells the Dark Seal, and we move on. But if we're talking time specifically, I'm guessing it's about 2 minutes time when we do have that Mountain Drake fight, tie us up 2-2. That's what I'd predict. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think he picks it up sooner than that because the value in itself is negligible and the risk is quite high. Don't buy Magi's early, chat.
Not too early. But
Not too early.
If you're feeling confident, the payoff can be large.
Because you're going to have the stats.
Just lose your stats.
Yeah, you're going to have your stats on the Dark Seal anyways here. So grabbing the Magi's won't instantly give you a lot of cost-efficient value. And then if you die, you're going to feel really bad about what you've done. You'll be like, oh man, I feel bad about okay.
Yo,
2
casters.
ships pass in the night.
Oh, not going to have to hear from that, guys. Feisty is just getting launched into the air. This LeBlanc cannot get away from the Vi, and down he will go mid laner. For mid laner, and maybe Romer should have taken the Magi's earlier because he would have a total of a lot of stacks now. But that's fine. Still going to pick up a bunch of kills, and now Homolife Esports can just go for the very early Baron.
Well, now he's got so much more room to buy the Magi's, and he has all that extra gold he picked up, so can buy Magi's now and then get a third item, like a third standard item very soon after that. Unable to save the turret. This is going to be also Baron gold he picks up on top of this. Yeah, Romer, he got the Ahri. He wanted to protect it in the draft, and it just works out as Yeah, that was a very weird Vi ultimate because of the interaction there with LeBlanc, but still gets collapsed onto. The follow-up is good. And unfortunately, Castle is just kind of left out looking very awkward here because the rest of the team wasn't there to protect or fight. And fighting open out in the open like this, Rosari doesn't have a lot of protection. Also feels not so great. Like, she did a ton of damage, but here we go. Here's that Drake fight. Did he buy the Magi's?
He should have. No, instead he bought a Crystal of the Void.
Rip. I don't think it's happening about this. I think he's just going to build a Void Staff and win the game at 30 minutes.
It's crazy because he's being handed so many free kills on a platter by the Vi. He's playing great as well, as this is a great little hide on Bush from the side of KT. They're going to get the 1 kill, and Romer says, I don't care, I'm super strong. He nearly gets in there with a kill, but Feisty's clone will also get away. A nice little gank brush, I suppose, from KT, but again, another Mountain Drake. This one will go to Homolife Esports.
Yeah. They didn't get the Ahri, who has a lot of shutdown gold, unfortunately, and still has those stacks. As we'll watch this play here, Feisty is on this brush. The Prowling projectile misses, so combo gets in, Cyclone combo is real. Tons of damage here, just up front in this comp. We talked about it's both got great late game scaling in a 5v5, but it also has burst and pick potential. This is one of those moments. And if the Prowling projectile hits, they might still get leapt on there because of the time where it would have seen they were still pretty far forward. But Hanwha's defense, they did check. Or they did try to check.
They tried to check.
They tried to check.
This is a very slippery squad on the side of KT, which is why I feel like Ahri and Vi was a fantastic choice when you were seeing what KT had face up, and then KT just picked another slippery champ in the LeBlanc, which in theory in the 1v1 should be pretty good, but outside of that, you're just going to get locked down pretty easily as well by all this CC on the side of Hanwha. But either way, you know, this is Challengers. It is about a 6,000 gold lead for Homolife Esports. I feel like they should be able to close this one out, especially with how well they are playing. But will they, is the question.
Yeah, it's always the question here in Challengers. The comp just plays itself from here. Like I said, okay, hold on. Hold the phone. Sneaky beaky. All right, that's the end of that.
You were talking about a Counter-Strike earlier. I see where you're going with this.
Not going for a windy walk here. This team, we talked about when we had the standings, as Castle will trade this back. We talked about them in the standings. We're like, okay, these teams are actually kind of in our A tier. There's the ST1 D plus Kia tier, and then there's this tier just below them. That's the E tier. And Hanwha, if they win this 2-0, they will actually pass T1. So there's a chance that they actually like beat T1 in the standings, and we can talk about what that means. But this team, I think, is a team, unlike Rion earlier, who will take a 6,000 gold lead and actually side lane with the Jax and get some pressure on the map and set up soul point, fight really well, and end this game. I don't see a world in which KT comes back. It is Challengers. I know Chronicles is probably shaking his head like, oh, Wolf, man, you're on week 3 by now. You should definitely know. But I think they got this. It's my official prediction at 26 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this time around, they're playing clean enough so far. And maybe that trust is unfounded. But, you know, it's looked good so far here in Game 1. I think KT have taken some iffy fights, given what they're playing against. So, let's see. Let's see if they actually can close it out here, as they still have this very strong Cassante that they were able to, okay, well, man, just Romer is not missing anything, even around the wall. Hambach has to go back now. They don't have a lot of sustain. Romer is looking for more. Looks like he's got another angle here. They just keep getting hit by these charms.
Okay, Feisty's like, no charm, I'm going in. Not going to grab it.
Didn't go so well for him either. As Romer now, he is here. He's got his ult. He's just waiting to Spirit Rush someone as Feisty. You know, he's doing a decent job of pushing him back, especially if the charm does miss. But that's a pretty clean inner turret. You know, there's no Baron buff or anything like that.
Yeah.
So they just take it away.
It is in a Challenger's way where they all group up as 5 and push it in and take it down, and there's no sort of cross map. They're not getting that much out of the Jax except his damage to rush the turret down, but could have been doing more on the map. But I respect the lead they have and the pick potential that Ari has over the wall. They wanted to turn that into a KT overreacts, they freak out, or they try to flank and Ari charm somebody, and then we actually get a kill, and then we get an inhibitor. A very greedy way of playing, but it doesn't work out in the end. Remember when I was talking about Sivir's wave clear in the last series? Well,
I remember.
Down on
I was
CS,
there.
but absolutely helping them push these waves super quickly to get map control, and this is going to be one of the many reasons why they have now a faster setup here onto this Drake. We're actually going to push this really deep, so maybe never mind. They could be flanked now. There's no inner there, so maybe just back off. Play it slow, head back around to the Drake.
It feels like KT have lost a little bit of confidence in taking these engages.
Okay. They're just going for an
Off
inhib.
vision, yeah, they're like, sure, take the single mountain Drake. And they're going to force
more?
backs. Well, they have this huge wave in
I think
top
they actually
lane.
get both. This is actually a great macro play here.
At least the turret.
And Rooster is coming in here just doing tons of damage, level 16.
Yeah,
This is actually a fantastic call.
Yeah, they have 5 members, and they're like, well, you have to have a couple of members on the Dragon at least, right? So we can just do this. It's still a 5v3.
Careful, Feisty.
And KT can't punish.
Nope.
Wow. Is this Challengers, Wolf? I don't know. That was kind of sick.
T1-esque.
I mean, that's stuff we don't even see in the LCK. Like, I'm not even being sarcastic. Yes, here we go. They're trying to pick him off. It looks like KT at least have been able to respect that. As the flash comes in from Hambach, and he forgot he was playing against Sivir and Yubi. So you're not going to chase that.
The observers calling him out. Calling him out.
You know, has
Center
no
screen
chill.
on Hambach. My favorite part of that was when Rooster intentionally didn't Counter-Strike the Wukong clone. Like, he walked out of it just to let everyone know, like, I knew this was the clone. It was very funny. I could just feel he's like, I wasn't fooled. I just need everyone to know that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not Counter-Striking this clone. I don't want anyone to doubt me and to make it look like that it was to make anyone think that I thought that was real.
It's okay. We realized. Very nicely done. And Roamer still has not bought a Magize. To be fair, I feel like actually in this game he wants certain items really quickly.
Yes, that's why he's not doing it.
The Void Staff, he has no penetration otherwise in the build, right? So it's really good, especially with the levels coming along. And the stopwatch is always going to be good. I'll never disagree with that. Oh man, just give this guy like 2 MVPs right now. Like, what is going on with this Ari? It's just insane. Guwon goes in, but guess what? He's got a stopwatch as a massive follow-up engage comes out from KT as Hama Life stacked for it. It might not matter as Rooster is looking for the kill, but Castle gonna get this back line.
How many kills for this
Rooster's
Ari?
got a stopwatch. Why does everybody have a stopwatch in this game?
Ari almost actually gets the whole team and is like looking to potentially set up waves here to end. I mean, I'm being facetious, but like Roamer did so much in that fight by himself. 4,455 in this skirmish, making Zeri's damage not look so hot. I mean, 6,500 it's all of Hype's damage, but definitely getting outshone in terms of impactful damage here as we watch this one more time. This Ari, or this Vi, holds super deep. This charm onto a LeBlanc. Everfrost follow-up. Instantly the Sivir Q. And then Vi comes in here, but it's not greedy because he has stopwatch. Forces out the first part of the Cyclone, and unfortunately, Hambach does still get a massive knock-up here on the turn, but where's the follow-up damage? Hype does a lot of it, but it's not impactful damage. Another stopwatch comes through, and Hype is just zoned out. And even with Rooster going down here with a stopwatch, the fight is won.
Yeah.
And if he can't get over the wall, he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, Rooster's so scary at this point, but yeah. It's just the fact that Hype was able to survive the entire time. I feel like Reble, of course, the support here for KT, was just able to hold on. And yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it was interesting. I was watching actually Hama Esports' positioning to see how they stacked up perfectly for like the 4-man Hanbok ultimate. They were waiting for the LeBlanc and for her teleport back, and after that they all flash into the fight, fall on top of each other, and that's how. As Rooster, he is Jax, so he's not gonna mind too much about that.
Counter-Strike, pretty good ability. Here we go.
He's getting in there. He's just trying to zone them away as he will be taken out, but he will offer his team the Baron. Didn't necessarily have to do that, but I suppose an honorable play as now Roamer, he's still looking to keep them around because look at their base. Like, yeah, look at the minimap right now.
It's completely open.
If they stop backs, this could be huge.
Yeah, and they're trying to do so. Unbox clone coming out here. They're going to run to the Nexus turrets, but this opens up the Drake that spawns in 1 minute time. Unfortunately, Hanwha Life Esports sitting on 2, not the 3, so it won't actually be Seoul, but they will be able to turn this into potentially a 7 Drake game by picking it up. So we'll see the teleport bottom side. Rudy getting that one pre-set up, and Ari going to be pushing the one wave they don't have full control over with what's remaining on this Baron. And yeah, Rooster here, pretty risky play. Counter-Strike buys him time. Then with obviously all the cooldown reduction he has, he wants to use it a second time here, goes over the wall with that ward. Really nice angle here to stop anybody from coming in to try to go for a steal. Yeah. And Hambach just a little bit late to get in as a result.
Yeah, he does a good job. You know, it kind of looks crazy on first look, but on second look, it actually perfectly zoned Hambach and just did not allow him in. So it was essentially a perfect sacrifice, you know. Very well done from Rooster. Just made it not a flip, which I was waiting there. I'm like, okay, well, I guess KT are probably going to steal this Baron, and they're going to win the game because they have Zeri, maybe? I don't know. Could have happened.
They have Zeri, but Hanwha Life has Super.
Yes. They also have Roamer.
Yeah, they have Roamer, and he did buy the Magi's.
He did it after buying all of his necessary items.
Yep.
Very well done.
Doesn't need the Zonias because he's got a stopwatch.
There's pretty much nothing that this guy has done wrong this game, except that one time he got baited in mid lane.
That was it. That was actually the moment he snapped. That's when he became Roamer.
He's like, I am joining the LCK next season. Like, you watch me. This is my start point. Hambach, a massive play. He gets 3 in the front line. As Lure, though, is going to be able to zone out the rest of the team with the Yuumi on the back, and he's doing so much damage. The ricochets from the Sivir are really the massive play here as another charm hits, of course, from Roamer, but Lure cannot be stopped. This guy is a madman. He will not pick up the Penta as it is stolen away by Roamer, which I suppose is fitting with the way he has played this game.
Roamer wants that POG, man, and he wants it bad, and he's going to get it. Valdez voted for him 20 minutes ago, but
I actually did.
Like, officially, he actually wrote it down 20 minutes ago.
And take a look at the damage. Like, yeah, at this point in the game, the 80 carries are the ones that are doing the majority of the carrying, but insane charms once again from Roamer. Great play from Lure to step up and just understand that he will survive. He's got a front line. He was able to zone them all away with the Yuumi. Very, very nicely done.
The Ari Vi, we've seen it banned so many times in the LCK. We've seen it in Challengers as well, banned away. That synergy that exists with these with this mid jungle is so successful here once again, albeit of course off the back of that one fail in the early game. But the Sivir pick, when you get ahead too, you could snowball these objectives so much faster because you get your Kraken Slayer spike much faster than Zeri could do anything. You have Spell Shield, you have a Yuumi to get you out of some of these sticky situations. There isn't a ton of great CC in this comp here for KT. Yeah, LeBlanc might chain you, but that seems very unlikely. You also have Spell Shield for that. Wukong is good at locking down this Sivir, which is part of why Sivir is less popular than Zeri right now, but he gets out of that first cycle in that really critical team fight. And if Cassante is getting on top of the Sivir, you got other problems in your composition. So it's really just, I think, a draft synergy problem here for KT Rolster. Like, they couldn't actually make this Wukong and the LeBlanc work outside the early game. Cassante not being too impactful in fights, and once the map opens up, this Sivir has got great wave clear. You've got an Ari to follow her, and clean HLE win.
Absolutely. We did have one person, Jupiter Kin, say Ari is the main character, not Sivir. Yes, that is what we were saying. Ari Roamer just did so much for this team. From early to mid to late, just super impactful in pretty much every single fight. They just eventually got their 80 carry online, and Lure did a great job to follow up, basically. So very, very nicely done. I think Hanwha Life definitely deserved that fight. KT, though, it wasn't like a stomp. It still felt like they had certain moments where they were coming back in this game and making some Zeri moments, some small ones. As Roamer,
easy pog, easy pog. Kill participation 94.4%, doing 30% of his team's damage on a assassin champion. Didn't even finish his Magi's, but if he had chosen to pick it up earlier, he probably could have. But you know what? He was like, I'm just going to do the right build.
Just got the word this was a unanimous vote. If anyone voted for Lure, I would have been a bit disappointed. Just throwing that out there. So, indeed, a unanimous vote from all of the casters here. We all vote for Roamer, and it is well deserved.
Well deserved. Great start here for Hanwha Life in this series. I think we're going to see a very different draft in game number 2 because there's just clearly a map movement. Like, I don't want to call it macro because it is macro, but the way they use their macro to actually find picks and use this pick composition is really problematic. I don't think they'll allow the Vi through. I don't think they'll allow the Ahri through. If they had played something like Lucian, game gets a lot harder to play. I don't think we'll be seeing that ban this time around.
I think game number 2 will look very different, but who knows? We'll have to wait until we see the draft. Guys, we're going to take a break and be back later for game 2.
빨간 팀의 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 빨간 팀의 포탑이 파괴되었습니다.
Welcome back. We are here for Hama Life Esports up against KT at LCK Challenger League.
Notice how he specifically emphasized
It is the
Challengers
second league of Korea below the LCK. CL stands for Challenger League, which means it's not the main league. It is the sub-league.
It doesn't stand for Chovy League, YouTube chat.
You never know.
I don't think Chovy will ever be sent down to Challengers.
Nah, he'd probably go to a different region before that happens.
Yeah, that's where the C stands for Championship Series, the LCS. Thank you guys for joining us, of course, as always here. We really appreciate your support. Lots of followers, getting us up to 6.9K there on Twitch. So we're growing every day, and
who won game 1? The fans. The fans won game 1 because it was such a great game.
Chat has adopted the new mute meta. I appreciate it because
nobody can hear us. Yeah.
Next week, Atlas and Chronicler, they don't know. Yeah. It's gonna be our little secret chat. It's our little secret.
Yeah, and we're gonna be back on Monday, so you can do it then as well. But we will reaffirm the meta before our friends, our brothers, will join on Tuesday.
Oh, that's true. We're gonna be here Monday first. So we'll spread the word again. We'll let you guys know.
Any tips on how to deal with a duo mate who runs it and flames you? Find better friends.
Damn, Valdez too real.
Chronicler
but he's right.
is definitely lurking somewhere, and we'll know. No, Chronicler's... he's not. He's somewhere else. Oh, man. This caster dude finally... better hair than the other one. I'm not sure if that's true. They have Chronicler on their side, and Atlas's hair is pretty cool as well. So,
yeah, I think it's not us. I'm not gonna lie.
KT selected blue side.
There we go.
I'm not too surprised by that, Wolf.
No, me neither. Especially considering how the Yuumi pick worked out for them last time around. I do think we will see some different bans than Lucian ban, because I think the bottom 2v2 was not where things went wrong on the side of KT.
Bring back Achilleos. Well, he was casting with you on this desk. Just a different game.
He did. It was a different game. Undersight. Remember that name?
Undersight.
Remember
Wait,
that?
Chronicler's here.
Oh, he's here?
Wait, what? Chronicler, I don't think that guy was serious. The memes today are being very sarcastically negative. In fact, Shifo is doing a great job. Sorry, Chronicler.
And he does get the vibe, yeah.
Sometimes, you know, it's hard to tell because either they're totally out of sorts and they don't even know, you know, what they're watching, or they kind of get it. That's kind of where we're at today. So
I drank on the stream. I mean, water, but I usually don't drink from that. But I was getting really thirsty and I couldn't hold it anymore. Chat, I'm sorry. That was a non-branded cup from no particular organization whatsoever.
yeah, of course. There are some Roamer fans and also some Rooster fans. Makes sense. I mean, the two of them have the best hair in the league.
And we do have Rooster versus Roaster.
Whoa.
It's a pretty sick time to be a Rooster fan.
So,
all right.
Some Hanwha fans as well.
It says Yellow Hair Lure is going to get a pentakill.
Well, he was close. And then Roamer stole it away. So,
Samdi, man. I can't believe he's changed his entire appearance.
Yeah, he's
up.
undercover, you know. He's he's just waiting for the right moment to make his comeback here. And Roamer had all right to take the kill. Yeah, I kind of agree. Although, you know, everybody lives for those pentakill moments. But I think it's fine. I think it's fine. As a fellow mid laner and Ahri player myself, I would have also taken the kill.
So we do have an update that from Yundo. He had a 76% roamer, 76% charm accuracy rate that game. Out of 26 charms he fired at champions, he hit 19 of the charms he fired at champions.
Wow, that's
not
pretty
including
cool.
ones he used to last hit under turret or anything like that. Out of all charms fired at champions, he hit 19 out of 26. And Yundo, the real Yundo, yeah, he counted manually himself.
Yeah, it's the real Yundo. That's some official Yundo statage right there. You guys better be very appreciative. What are those sacks the players are always fondling? Those are heat packs. They keep your hands warm. That is what they are for.
We call them hot packs.
Yeah.
And it creates a chemical reaction, and it becomes very warm, and it makes sure that your hands don't get cold while you're sitting on the desk, so you can be warmed up. As Yumi will be banned this time around, as Lucian actually banned by Hanwha Life Esports on the reverse. No Ashe, so Varus still up, potentially here for the taking. The Zeri pick feels a lot weaker here.
Yeah, with the Yumi off the board. What if they like first picked Lulu? They're like, we want so desperately to play this kind of handshake thing, and we will get like Lulu Zeri or Lulu Sivir. It's not going to happen because they are going to first pick Varus, which feels like the better option. I was just getting worried because after game one, I'm like, these teams just desperately want to play a hyper carry, but not necessarily going to be the case here.
See what comes in as a response. We haven't really seen that much Karma in Challengers compared to the LCK. We did see Pulbay flex it into mid. So it looks like it's just going to be that Lulu Zeri lane. However,
just pick Ahri now. Just pick it now. Like,
yeah, just pick it now.
It was
honestly,
so good.
Just do it.
Lissandra is available, so if Feisty wants to play that, if they do pick Ahri, it could be a little bit of a problem for them. So maybe.
But he played the LeBlanc, and he wasn't able to, outside of that one mistake, do much to punish. And I think it is easier to play the Lissandra, but and much to Roamer's chagrin, gonna be the Lulu here.
Could always pick it third and play Jhin, maybe force them to like ban some melee carries and then just play Jhin or Aphelios. Who knows what, you know? Already forgot what that champion
Lulu
is.
Aphelios is pretty solid option. Okay, this is an all-in lane. Yes. Very bizarre to show this face up because I mean, there's a lot of other champions that could have been played with this. The Heimerdinger is banned, so it gets a little bit awkward, but you could have played the Karma here. Could have played another AD lane. Could have played something like the Kalista or Caitlyn.
We got Wolf the Goat bot in chat. The only thing he says is Wolf the Goat.
Thanks, Wolf the Goat bot. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, that's why he's here. Just to say Wolf the Goat.
We will see a Renekton ban here, and obviously trying
Makes
to make
sense.
sure you don't have the at least Renekton kill power top while you're also dealing with all these other things on the map, the pushing power of Varus, Nautilus, the all-in at level 2, stuff like that. Does seem wise. Similar idea here with the Jace. For different reasons, Jace has the extra damage that can assassinate so many targets with the Elise pick. And Renekton has damage plus the CC, so you just chain them to death and destroy them. Let's see what this last ban is here, because Cassante, not really an issue, I think, in this draft as much. Do have the Jax Fiora angle potentially here. Okay, just going to ban the Ahri. I think that we just see like a Fiora pick here, and then wait for the music getting too intense.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just this one moment in the music, in the draft music, where like there's like an actual electric guitar solo.
They picked the Gnar. I would have much rather seen a side laning win condition here for Life Esports to buy time for their Zeri to get online later on in the game, in case things go awry early in this all-in lane here for KT, but still saving counter pick for Roamer. Watch Roamer pick LeBlanc now, and just like, doesn't matter what the matchup is, he's just like, I'm gonna win this.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But, you know, who knows? Maybe he'll play like Galio or something. Let's see what the pick is going to be for Feisty as the Jax once again.
What about if he just plays Azir here? Well, never mind.
I mean, you were right about the Azir.
Well, it's going to be Taliyah now, it looks like.
Yeah, the Taliyah very strong into the engage from KT.
Because, like, Azir into the Nautilus, the Elise, the Varus, you know, you have a lot of power in terms of what you could do at a long-term team fight. The Elise can, but she is also a lot more bursty. And at least into the Azir in the laning phase, that can go very poorly for the Taliyah early, but it depends on how much gank assist you have. You do have the... or how much assistance your jungler is going to give you, rather. In this case, the Vi can set up for kills, but I like KT's draft overall better. I just don't know how this 2v2 is going to go on the bottom side, because Rebel is going to break those minions down early with his support item. They're going to look for level 2. They're going to look for the first hook. They're going to try to hook Zeri under turret, or right before turret, put the wave right to that spot, and then if you get that kill, at least comes back over a second time. You repeatedly dive bottom side with the Azir pressure. And like Feisty can come down early and help out with this pre-6 if they have enough prio there. If Elise is helping set them up for that. And then this could just become like this kill lane that's crazy while Jax is self-sufficient topside.
That's the idea. We'll see if KT can pull it off, or if Hanwha Life Esports will have an answer. It is pretty, you know, face up, right? Like you were saying in the draft. It's like very obvious what KT wants to do. So, and we've seen this before in other games. So maybe Hanwha Life Esports have what it takes to deny that amount of dive and aggression, or will KT be able to make this engage support work alongside of the Elise, which was banned in game number 1. So definitely going to be a different look here, as I was a very big fan of the Taliyah pick. We'll see if it does pan out. Has panned out in an LCK game against a lot of dash and engage. But can Roamer make a second game work for himself is truly the question.
That's the question.
That is the question, and this is the Rift. Game 2 starts now.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Vlades, Blended Velvet.
It's the alternate universe where he's a Vladimir one trick.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
I used to play some Vladimir. I used to.
Velda's a very good mid player. All right, are we flashing for it? Nope.
All right, Unsealed Spellbook for the Taliyah. Alongside of Second Wind and Resolve secondary talents to get through the Azir lane.
Yeah. We do also see Hex Flash for the Nautilus, unsurprisingly. So this bottom lane is probably where we're going to have our eyes focused the entirety of the first 3 levels of the game. We might peek at Roamer and see how well he's dealing with the Azir pressure early here, the Comet pickup, etc., where the pressure is going to be real. Down here, it is lethal tempo on this Varus because the Varus is going to be trying to get ahead in this lane, but not going to be looking for poke and that lethality damage in the mid game. Wants to be able to match some of Zarya's late game damage. This Gnar comp is, yeah, pressure is on. Bottom side here, you'll see the Nautilus break down these minions, try to get level 2 as soon as possible, has Dematerializer as well, so can keep pushing that through and constantly follow up with Elise ganks if you get that lead. We have seen some Nautilus players miss the hook in LEC and get punished right away. I happened to see that last night. It was very sad. But Rebel, very good engaged support player. Used to be a Alistar player back in the day. That was his best champion. His Nautilus is also very good. Played through the Nautilus meta during the Zeri times last year.
Yeah. It's, Alistar is a little bit more of an extinct species nowadays on the Rift. But the Nautilus, every once in a while. Not half bad, just because of how reliable his engage is, how good it is into the Zeri later on in the game as well. The Vi was picked away, so not able to take that one for the lockdown onto the very slippery Zeri.
So Lure deciding he's just going to lose some of the CS with the freeze there in order to not get hooked, but otherwise handling the pressure really well, staying behind the minions. See, Hambak is actually going to look for very aggressive pathing here towards the red buff early on and is not going to commit to bottom side just for now. And they're keeping this pretty well hidden. Checks and sees that Guan is not there. Question mark pings as Hambak knows he's coming over.
Yeah, and Guan is getting pretty low. Not sure that he can actually win this trade 1v1, as Guan is going to have to flash the wall and give this red buff away.
That was really well timed, the question mark pings there as well, coming down from the bottom lane. They had the extra prio to check and make sure he wasn't coming down for the dive.
I mean, Guan is here. The question is, can he get over in time before Rooster dies? He might be able to trade a kill back. The flash is so clean from Castle, and he's going to get... Nope, he's just going to turn around and get killed. But Hambak does kill him.
He wanted to get the kill, not the assist. Greeting for it, Valdez. Is going to turn around and die. Bit of an oopsie, but it's okay. Picking up 2 assists here. 2 kills for the Elise early. Hambak snowballing very well. And now is the time to clear this top side of his jungle.
And never come back ever again.
Not to top side, but he will be going to bottom a lot.
Yes.
That's his new spot. So watch this one more time. Rooster flashes, the counter-strike is still leapt onto here. Hambak gets on top of him, will take him out. And then the flash from Castle is so slick. And then, we don't like to talk about what happens next.
Just, no.
Oof.
Why? Somebody asked in chat if this was a rebroadcast. Yes, this is a rebroadcast. In fact, we planned for this. That's why I'm saying this right now. Definitely not live.
Yeah, someone also asked earlier if these are real games. No, these are all just actors that we do. It's like wrestling. Come on, guys.
Yeah. It's for the fans. You know?
They are
we gotta
really
show
good
off
at it, too.
Games for the fans. That's what it's all about.
Okay,
The interviews.
Here's the hook.
Yeah, it does come in. Lure will cleanse. Trade for the Ignite of Reble.
This is why it's hard to cast KT Rolster with Valdez. He always says Reble.
Rebelli. That's a good one. I kind of like that better.
He used to spell his name RBEL, chat, and then he changed it. Refused to elaborate.
That's true, King Chat.
They have a lot of power here, obviously with that Nautilus Ignite, a little bit of extra damage coming through, and with the lack of vision here of where the dive could be coming from, and pathing of Guan right now where he's far away on Wolves. They're like, okay, we're going to set up vision, make sure we don't die, set that ward there on the brush to the left of the turret, and then KT get the Drake. So they're like, we have to let this go. Just nothing we can do without the prio early. Now level 6 is here for Roamer, so he can come down and punish that bottom lane if he ever gets any freedom whatsoever in this lane. Ahead in CS significantly, but otherwise just going to be stuck under turret.
Yeah, he's just trying to clear this one out. He doesn't have teleport, but he's definitely going to be pushed out of this lane, just the way this one is going to go. Feisty could potentially also look for an engage onto the Taliyah, who doesn't have a lot of escapes, especially with the super fed Elise, as we haven't seen a lot of bot camping. It's just been Hanbok's like, okay, I got 2 kills, and what am I going to do with all of this farm? I'm going to buy level 2 boots as... Okay, yeah, unsealed spellbook. I'm like, where did that heal come from? Did Duro commit to just literally heal the Taliyah so that he could farm? No, actually, he just did it himself.
Yep, just get that one. Check that one off the list of unsealed spellbooks summoners.
Exhaust is next.
And he does, you know, come back here fairly quickly. It's Taliyah. She can wall surf her way back to the lane. It's not going to be crazy or anything. She does have tier 2 boots, so get back to the lane here. Losing a little bit of CS kind of evens them out a little bit. Still having a small minor lead here, but otherwise, so far here for KT Rolster, with really nice lead with this Elise. Hasn't translated into the Varus.
Yeah.
Gonna hold our breath here for a second.
Okay, they're gonna look for Romer, who misses his flash, and he is so dead. 100,000 million billion% dead.
Hanbok picks up the kill though, not giving it to Feisty there. Would have rather seen the gold split a little bit, but he built a Dark Seal, so he's going to get something out of it. More Dark Seal value here in Challengers. As now, coming down here bottom side to potentially crash this wave in for a dive. 3 dematerializers still for Rebel here. Hasn't used any of those just yet. They've just had so much power. It's not really much efficient usage that you can get from them. As this is going to be the missed flash here. It's right after combo. So, no way to use your shove. Flash is just unfortunately on the edge of it.
Well, what are you going to do? That's the way it goes sometimes. Romer, it's not like he could have done anything outside of flashing better because he got flashed on, right? So Rocks wouldn't have helped him out. As now, Hanbok is getting very aggressive, very active. Romer, once again, is totally dead. He was way too far up the lane with no vision. Hanbok is going to get the kill again, so Elise now is 4-0.
This is like, it's cool if you're a Hanbok fan and you're like, wow, I love this jungle play, but this actually can be a liability, taking away so much money from the rest of your team. In this case, it wasn't taking away so much, he's just getting that kill and punishing Romer, but this lead might look bigger than it actually is because it is on one single champion who does a lot of burst damage and can help set up with his more utility in this comp than anything else. So the gold going to be less and less meaningful as the game goes on. It's very meaningful right now because he does have those force attacks. He can do so much damage. He has so much burst with this electrocute, and we get away with it? Do we get away with it? Is the heist a success?
Looks like it.
Yeah.
I think they're like, oh, she must have come in here a bit quicker. And stolen it away earlier.
Has the notification from the Rift Herald take, so knows he's safe to do this. There's no Elise nearby. Just going to go ahead and trade that one for his being stolen away, as Hanbok knows his team has communicated that happened. Hanbok having a great game here, and Rooster, you are in Never Never Land right now. You should be okay.
I mean, there's a lot of damage. He does have to flash away, as Hanbok is a wrecking ball of a jungler. Basically, everywhere he goes, he is just breaking down walls, as Romer maybe being baited into this one, as the Nautilus is nearby.
I love how Rebel is playing around the prio they had earlier, bottom side, and the threat of this Elise so extremely well, because the game is no longer about shutting down the bottom side, it's just turning this Elise money into money for the solo laners. So Hype is like, yeah, this game is no longer about like, let's take the whole turret down for the Varus lane. It's the win condition has changed. I'll hold this wave. You just go roam around the map, Rebel. You have level 6, and maybe we can get some more gold. We can snowball this even further because it's a snowball-y comp. Doesn't really need to try to force that push into the bottom turret anymore. So good call here. Rebel is showing his macro skills quite a bit. Clear up that ward. And yeah, Varus is very self-sufficient in a lane like this. Can actually get a lot of experience as well solo here.
As long as they're not looking to dive him, which at this point, Homolife do not have enough control of this map to do anything like that. Romer's just desperately trying not to die. That is the current meta of his lane at this moment in time. We do have Infernal coming up this point, as KT should take it down for free. This Rift Herald is going to get a really nice charge, give some of that money over to Feisty as well.
Crazy thing too is it's a Jax on the top side, and with the threat of the Elise, whenever Elise is not showing, There's nothing Rooster can do. He can't even try to get some hyper procs. Like, it's very, very risky. It's very greedy. So they basically have 3 winning lanes all the time from now on until Hanwha Life Esports come online a little bit later on. And even then, like, unless Roamer does something very drastic here in this game, he's not going to be winning against Nazir on the side. And Guwon loses out on 1v1s forever. So he can't, like, come down and be like, don't worry, I'll shadow you, because if Hanbok finds him, it's curtains.
Yeah, no Jhin
really,
in this game,
they don't match
but,
the drapes. They look really bad, you know?
Yeah. Well, we do have Guwon down here on the bottom side. He could look for an angle now as the flash in comes out as he is looking for this gank as a massive Lulu Wild Growth does come in. Now flash forward from Lure the Slow is going to be big, but Rebel gets in the way and denies the kill onto him, but he does go down as this top lane, definitely a disaster, as of course Hanbok will visit a lane and get another kill.
Everybody be like Rebel. Be like Rebel. Take one for the president, you know? Protect your AD carry. Every support out there should be try to be more like Rebel. Mostly carry, but in this case, Rebel. And
in this game, yeah.
In this game, yes. Not that Duro's having a bad time
Another
or anything.
plate for Lure?
Yeah.
It's good to
Actually,
get some kind of scraps in this game.
Yeah, picking up another plus 175 is going to be nice. Castle will do the same top side here. 2 plates down as watching this one more time. Guwon comes in here. Flash is good. Gets on top of the Varus with the follow-up double knock up here. It seems like, okay, we got this. But Rebel says, nope. Blocks those shots. And that's the end of that. Rooster over here gets flashed on, and that's the end of this very quickly. This time, Hanbok actively gives the kill to Castle. You could tell. Like, Castle was like, all right, you cannot steal every kill in this game. You're an Elise. I need money.
This is looking like maybe a dead Lulu. They're going to go in onto this one. Duro is not died just yet, but finally he does go down as Feisty makes his way over. The rest of the team just trying to run away as there are a lot of rocks on the ground. Guwon maybe going in a little bit too ham as now Lure is just picking up free kills. Everybody was so low, but Hype was quite fed as well. He's getting a ton of damage done, and he nearly takes out the Taliyah, forces Roamer to flash away.
Some serious lethal tempo value in that fight. Hype is just untouched. That's his second kill of the game, and look at how much damage he did in that fight, 3,000. And this is a massive trade up for KT Rolster. He's just got such a lead here. So watch this one more time. Feisty, also part of the set play, wasn't really shown on our screens earlier when we did talk about this, but he's here. Doesn't have ult, but can follow-ups from so far away. Really non-committal as well. And yep, Hanbok almost gets taken down. There's a lot of rocks here, right? But key, Hype untouched here, and 1v2 is just going to get done.
Really nice kiting.
There's just not, unless Taliyah has a ton of money and has a ton of items, like her Q doesn't really give you sustained damage, especially compared to a Varus. It's got that attack speed, it's just gonna rip through you. Later on in the game, you can win those, but not right now.
Yeah. Taliyah can try to keep him at range, but in that situation, everybody's just dogpiling on the same brush, essentially. So the Varus gonna have a fun time as long as nobody's really threatening his life. And lots of items picked up here for the side of KT. They have a pretty massive spike as a team, as it feels like everybody's got their mythics so far, outside of Rebel, who did go for the Speedy Boots.
Speedy Boots,
official name.
Mobility sneakers, I believe they're officially called.
That's
mobility kicks.
The Zoom boots.
Don't forget to bring your Zoom shoes, said Mom.
Yep.
The moon boots. Not quite jumping that high on
Moon
this
boots.
knowledge.
We had those one time.
Yeah, they were pretty sick back then. Were you a big trampoline user?
Yeah, absolutely. Love trampolines.
Very dangerous, but luckily no injuries in my household.
It was
only fun.
And yeah, I mean, KT are taking every objective, so that's nice. They're going to feel pretty good about that. The Varus, obviously, we mentioned the lethal tempo. He is going to be going on hits.
The Moby boots are just Heelys.
Heelys. That makes a lot of sense, actually. They kind of do look like them as well.
No, it's
maybe
just
not
like
as thick.
rocks back and slides forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe not quite, but I like the theory.
Okay. We do have going up in the top side. No Counter-Strike available. Just going to get going onto Castle, who does not have a flash to get away, as he will get slowed down by that one. And the punch from the Vi, a little bit short, maybe on purpose, as they were not going for the dive.
Yep. A lot of pressure topside, though, means KT can just take this bottom side Drake with the Azir push here. And look at all the vision that's being set up for Rebel right now. He's got 4 wards set, Control Ward and the River Brush, 3 on the red side of the jungle there, bottom, so that he can make sure no one's rotating in here. There's no tricks, there's no surprises. And yes, it's going to be a turret that goes down, but look at how much damage Feisty is going to get done to this one. So vision that supports this cross map after the attempt to assassinate Castle. And tower goes down, but what KT gain is much greater, and I think they actually are going to get that whole turret bottom side here. Feisty is actually proxying the wave now. And this is kind of, feels like it's a base race, but it's really not. KT are getting so much more out of this. There's just no answer here.
They're going to feel very good about taking that one down. They are 1 Drake away from a soul already. Stopwatch available for both mid laners because they made the right choice before the game started.
What choice was that?
To take the perfect timing rune.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that way you can get a stopwatch when you load into the game. It's a free bunch of gold for you.
Yeah, and it saves you money on Azonias. That's part of the sales trick. They're always trying to
Worked
sell
on
you
me. I will always take that one.
You could take the magical footwear, but that's not as much savings.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. This is good also. It's also good, but this could be a problem. But Roamer is trying to get away. It looks like they have been able to zoom their way out of this one.
I think I called it magical footwork, but it's just one of those days, Valdez.
It's the first of 7, Wolf. So
the fleet boots.
This is just your warm-up day, you know. You finally had a rest yesterday, and today is like where you kind of get back into it. You know, you had too much time off after that whole day of rest yesterday.
Yeah, it was
so.
Well, mostly the whole day, not the full day. Did do a show yesterday, but we got I think a little bit of time here before Hanwha Life Esports can realistically contest a major objective. As I mean, look at how much damage Rooster takes from Hambach, because we talked about how like it's somewhat problematic. A lot of the the tactics ogre currency he's stacked up this game, but he has enough money here in just those 2 stacks, obviously because he did end up getting picked earlier. Enough money and enough of a lead to, if he encounters anyone in the jungle while they're setting up vision, actually do so much damage to them and threaten them. And yes, this can be a problem if he's the only one who has money, but like he turned that gold into everybody else's gold on the map. Like 2 kills for Varus, Jackson a pretty fine spot. Zir picked up a kill with that last play they made on the red side jungle. So he's also scary, and the rest of the team is scary too. It's not just the one champ that has the money this time. Is okay. Just let that one go.
It's pretty large too. I mean, if you look at the gold number, you might say to yourself, "Oh, you know, it's like 2,000 gold. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Maybe 2.5." But actually, at this point in the game, it does feel like Hanwha Life need some time to get their Zeri online. Otherwise, they're not going to really win fights. Just because the Azir is pretty fed, the Jax is pretty fed, the Varus is pretty fed. Roamer needs to flash, which is unlucky for him. Again, great presence here from Hambach on this top side of the map.
Just so oppressive. I mean, look at how little they can see and how much effort they have to put into clear vision around this Baron. And it's on spawn, by the way, at 20. The Hanwha Life is already starting to get worried, like, uh-oh. They can't win the side lane fight against this Jax. That's a big problem. The Talia is so far behind in this game that she won't be able to win against the Azir either. Not to mention that with an Elise roaming around the map, like she's always in danger, even if she did try, even if she wasn't this far behind.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of items, not massively far behind, but it's just not a matchup you want to be playing us into. And it does feel like it's pretty doomed here for Hanwha Life. If you cut a team fight in half here, maybe you could win a fight. And KT stacking these Drakes means they don't want to avoid this next fight, so it makes the side lane problem even worse. But they need that third item for the Zeri, and they're just so far away from it.
They can't fight without that. Like, they're just never going to win a fight without that item. So they might try to fight. on the Ocean Soul before they have that item.
I mean, they just can't let it go, I don't think. I mean, a lot of the time you can, but not in this comp. I feel leave that Ocean Soul, especially this early in the game. The value of it is going to be so high.
Are you saying they're between a rock and a hard place?
I didn't say that specifically, but that is what I had in mind.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because either you give away a free Ocean Soul, which feels really terrible against what you're playing against.
I love this play.
Or you force yourself into a fight that you're probably not going to win.
Hide Jax, they have no idea where he is. He could be in that brush for all they know, so they have to group up slowly. They see him now, but he can threaten this.
They're just going to Baron.
Yes. They can threaten this, pull them down here, and then they can do Baron. And they realize they're coming over here as soon as they can, but Nautilus could just block them out. This is beautiful macro play.
Yeah, that's great. And both teams have had a moment like this. As in goes Roamer, it's not really going to do all too much as he's got some rocks down. That looks pretty cool. As getting in front of that chain was Guon as he's going deep. He's going hard in the paint, and he's going to bait his entire team into this one. KT, I think they've got this one in the bag. As Rooster, he's on the run. Just excellently played from KT, and a really crisp call to immediately run towards the Baron, and they had enough damage to burst it down.
And this is all based on the fact that Castle had bottom side lane control so hard, like pushing it into the inner. There's no vision on where he is. He can go down here and hide. If Hanwha Esports are scared of the Baron and go there first, he can, as Jax, solo the Drake quickly anyways and then come over, so they still win on both sides. Didn't have, I believe he didn't have his teleport on cooldown back then either. I think he actually still had that, so... I mean, there was no losing. It was basically macro checkmate. And when this fight happens, you can see there's the teleport he uses to come in here. Rebel ults to block them out. Roamer comes in here. The ultimate here from Lure just completely whiffs, and then he's going for distance. He's going for speed, man. He's all alone.
Oh no.
Nice try.
파괴되었습니다.
Just some miscommunication here. This might, like, I think a lot of people might be thinking Hambach POG angle, but I'm kind of leaning towards Castle right now. He played that topside gank so well. He's been so all over the map. His decision-making has been great. It looked like it was probably his shot call to actually split Drake and Baron like that and then rotate over. I mean, it's between one of the two of them for me. Hype has had a good game, but he's been set up to, right? And this is the kind of level of play, the kind of punish and polish with the lead that you have that you want to see. Both of these teams took leads in their games and ran it down the lanes in a good way. That's probably not the term to use in League of Legends, but they
ran it down as a 5-man unit.
to the Nexus to kill it.
Yeah. While taking out the enemy champions on the way. Yeah, this one feels pretty much in the bag. I'm not sure what angle HLE Esports have at this point, unless they can somehow hold on through the Baron.
It's an acute one, Valdez. That's the angle. It's going to be very,
It's a very acute one. It's
acute
maybe under
angle.
a single degree at this point. And, I mean, take a look at the Baron power play as well. It's 5,500 gold. That's not normal. It's partially because they took that pretty great fight after the Baron did KT.
All right.
Yeah.
This is the Jaxed. He's coming in your base. He's taking your turret away.
Jaxed.
The Jax. He's
Sounded like you said Jaxed.
Jax, J-A-X-T.
Yeah.
He jaxed you.
Ooh, that was cool from Rebel.
Gonna get jaxed. That is if you're Hanwha Life.
Yeah.
That shove misses.
I mean,
Unfortunate.
they're holding on. I mean, this Baron, for all the gold it got to the side of KT, and don't get me wrong, this is looking still extremely good to the side of KT. Seems like it was still a bit early for KT to really break into the base, as they did not take a single inhibitor turret.
Yeah, they have decent wave clear. They have nice side laning, and they didn't really threaten it super. Like, they didn't threaten all 3 lanes. They haven't been able to put any pressure on those inhibitors. The wave clear of HLE Esports, you know, they have a Zeri, do a decent job. They obviously have this Talia can clear some of that away, so they just kind of defensively sit back and take it. But map control, make no mistake, still massively in KT's favor. Look at the line of wards across the river. They've moved the equator up. The equator is supposed to be the river. It's supposed to be the middle line. No, it's right where your inner turrets used to be. And as a result, KT could see all movement across the map. They know when Zeri is trying to farm the mid lane. And they're just going to kind of keep pushing these waves towards inhibitors. And yeah, it's going to be free farm for Zeri, who does have her IE online now. But they just keep this for 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Win an Elder fight, win the game. Now, what if
It all sounds so simple.
What if they flip the Elder, though? That's the question.
Will Zeri moment? By the way, IE is finished.
Zeri moment.
This is a little one, you know. So, you know, quick triple kill. Not too much to see. I mean, Hololive have held on. The game is not over yet, but it does feel pretty, pretty hopeful for them. Meaning they've only got hope at this point, but let's see. Let's see how it does play out. This is Challengers after all.
The Korean voice actor for Azir sounds like the Korean voice actor for Void Ray in StarCraft 2.
Maybe it is.
It could be. I wonder. Just a thought.
Maybe you should look that up. Maybe
anyone
someone
in chat
should
know?
look that up. Yeah.
Anyone in chat know?
Who's the voice actor for Korean Azir?
This reminded me of it a lot for some reason.
Is it the Korean voice actor for Void Ray?
Yeah, Korean.
That makes sense.
The Korean Void Ray voice actor and the Korean Azir voice actor sounded similar in this case.
Guys, it's only an 8K gold lead plus soul. What could go wrong?
Look, what? I'm just saying, chat. What if? I'm just saying.
What
there is a world. There is one universe, one reality where we
Probably
see.
more than one, actually.
No, I think actually only one.
Just one?
Yeah, just one. Out of
Just
like,
the one.
out of like maybe like 12 different possibilities, because I don't think
There's no way
that
that
many
KT
options.
lose from here, right?
I'm just saying, like 1 out of 12
I'm just
chance.
trying to curse it for the memes. Okay, they're getting in there. They knock away Castle as Talia is just gone, and the front line is also gone.
I wanted an Elder flip,
Oh,
Valdez.
lure. Oh my god, that was a massive gnar as they're still trying to kill the Zeri and they can't kill the Zeri.
Oh my god, is it the 1 out of 12 reality? Now, late kill onto the Elise, 35 seconds. Faster respawn here for Guon.
It was still a good fight for KT, but they didn't kill Zeri.
Nope.
I'm still worried.
Baron spawns faster than Elder, so KT is still actually just going to get away with this. They have a TP advantage here. There's no vision for Hanwha. They can't match TP. They have no idea this is happening. They can then ignore Elder and probably try to take out inhibitors. I don't think they'll do that, but I think they'll just take Baron, take that Baron buff, the extra damage, and go straight for a recall and rush.
Wait.
Yeah, they're straight for not a recall. They have TP.
Okay, they have
one
TP.
more.
Can they actually burst this down in time? I don't know. This is getting pretty close.
Okay, it's getting flippy, Valdez.
It's getting pretty flippy in here. I mean, Guwon's in the pit. This is a pretty good setup right now. Tons of damage going out onto Rooster, though, but he's in Meganar, and there's no jungler here. It's going to be smited by the Vi. And look at this, KT, you're going in for the fight. You gotta be kidding me. There's a massive ult is going to come in. They're fighting against the Elder. They do not care. They have killed the Zeri. And KT, they were not scared for even a moment. They're like, yeah, sure, you can have the Elder. We're not even going to flip it. We're just going to flip you off the rift and take game number 2.
Flipping them out of the frying pan into the fire. We're going to the third game, Valdez. KT!
I can't believe that happened.
Yep.
That like never happened.
Yeah. Yeah. When I... Yeah.
Look at that Azir. Holy crap.
I was so worried when they started backing. I was like, I don't... Okay, but they win the fight anyways.
They had Elder Drake and Hololive did like a total of 5,000 damage.
The Zonias, by the way, for Jax, which saves him when he tries to engage and get on top of them with a counter-strike. He's the only one who almost gets burst down by that Elder damage and then uses his Zonias to survive. All right, are you a Hambach voter?
Yeah, I'm a Hambach voter.
I
You
think
did
I
too
am.
much in the
I
early
think
game.
I am too.
I tried to put Hambach into my phone and it tried to autocorrect to Jambalaya.
Me too. That's messed up.
No, he's Hambach. Come on. Dumb phone.
It's messed up. Autocorrect is really just trying to put us down.
Yeah. Well, that was a game of challengers that we had.
Look at the damage in this game for Elise. 5,000 more than the on-hit Varus.
That is unnatural. That should be banned. That should be illegal.
It's like I was worried for a little bit when he kept kill stealing, like taking the last hits away. I was like, well, what if Azir had 2 more kills? What if Jax had that extra kill? What's going on here? But then he just kept killing people and kept getting more people ahead. I was like, all right, I guess it's fine. I guess at least can just take all the money and then do 14,408 damage and KT bring us to a game 3.
Seems fine. Take a look at the objectives there on the left. Everything is to KT except 1 Elder, which does go the way of Hololive Esports, and it didn't matter.
Not at all.
Oh boy.
Well,
this is a series that we have on our hands of Challenger League.
Yes. I wonder, you pick blue side here as Hanwha, or do you pick red side?
I'd say go blue. It worked for you the first time. You could ban away Elise.
Yeah, these games have kind of been defined by the early picks rather than the late. The Sivir pick in game 1, that was really pivotal for the draft and how much wave clear they had with the Yuumi, which allowed them to snowball the game a little bit better on Hanwha's side. I think they'll pick blue side. That's my prediction at this moment in time. It's a bit early to be talking about it, but alternatively, maybe we see something wild and crazy in the mid lane. The Ahri pick, the LeBlanc we already saw in game 1. Both these mid laners feeling themselves a little bit tonight. It was definitely not about them in game 2. Definitely not about them in game 2.
Well, Feisty is going to pick it up.
What?
I think some people got a little bit influenced by the boom boom.
I think this is a, this is, as my grandmother would say, highway robbery.
Yeah, I don't think we can describe it any other way. Feisty did have some big moments, though.
Who stuck up the Korean casters? Some Feisty fan like came over to the Korean casters, like pulls a weapon out. It's like, you vote for Feisty right now. You put the mid vote in the chat at this moment in time, or you will regret it.
He did have a 262 CC score, and he did have some big moments. So I can understand getting really excited about Feisty.
That was a missed flash in the mid lane. That was a missed flash.
I can understand getting excited for the Feisty.
Feisty's great.
Either way,
we'll respect it.
Good play from KT. We'll be back after the break, guys. Hello and welcome back to LCK Challenger League. We are here for one last game between Hololive Esports and KT Rolster, who is going to take this series that we have on our hands right now. I think it's pretty hard to say. Like, Hololive dominated game 1. KT pretty much dominated game 2. And now, I mean, yes, it will be Home Life Esports' side to choose. Maybe that'll give them a slight advantage.
It's a very snowbally meta, and we just watched 2 very snowbally games. Like, both games were very one-sided.
Yeah.
I would argue the second game even a little bit more one-sided than the first.
Yeah.
But both games are very one-sided, right? We had an Ari out of control. We had an Elise out of control. Those 2 players then snowballed their leads for their teams. I thought the draft overall we did like better for KT. We looked at it, we were like, well, seems pretty self-explanatory. A lot of power in the lanes, a lot of side lane win conditions. And then Elise, we were like, yeah, she can dive. She can set up for the all-in with the Nautilus on the bottom side. Didn't get anything done there. Just got things done everywhere else in the solo lanes.
Yeah, I feel like for Home Life, the Vi pick early with the Elise available seemed pretty punishable. Like, there were ways to kind of get around her power spikes. Like, she can trade pretty well, but not against Elise. So the second that Hambach got the jump on him in the jungle, it felt like pretty over from there because Vi couldn't be there. Even though she was there, she could barely clean up the dive on the top side, which was free for the Elise, perfectly set up by the side of KT's top laner, Castle. And from there on out, as they say, it just kind of snowballed out of control.
Yeah.
That is the meta.
Hype and Rebel also checked to make sure they knew where the Vi was, because the Vi could have been punishing them, trying to push really hard. They find out that he's not there, so he's pathing towards his red buff, so that you have all that additional information so you can make that play happen. Well-oiled machine is what KT looked like in that game. Hanwha did pick blue side, as you and I both were suggesting, so we'll be doing that here for game 3.
And maybe they leave Elise open and take it themselves. I'm sure that we could see that out of the jungler here, Guwon, from the side of Home Life Esports.
I don't think they will, though. It doesn't seem like that's really their playstyle. And
It's not what they did in game 1, so.
Guwon's not really a carry-type player in that way. His dives aren't very clean. He's more of a utility, like CC setup type player.
He felt great kind of being the sidekick for Roamer in game number 1.
Exactly. He likes to set people up. His Vi has been, you know, his champion of choice outside of the Sejuani. We've seen him play already this season. His Wukong, where he kind of did have to be a little bit more of the setup, a lot more of the win condition, hasn't looked as great so far. So we'll see what he does here in this 3rd game. Looks like the players are still getting ready, so we're kind of talking about some gameplay choices that can be made for a little bit here. Kind of setting the stakes, telling you guys a little bit about what we expect. Let's just read Twitch chat, though, instead.
The entire LCS viewer base is one Twitch account named the LCS viewer base. Nice. I love how you guys coordinated your suits. Well,
thanks.
Yeah,
Totally
that was, we planned that. Absolutely.
You like the way we did our ties, too?
Definitely
his
not the
tie
Cordies.
is my color, and my tie is his color.
So well matched.
Yeah.
Seems pretty well planned.
We're
It also
so
looks
smart.
exactly like the ones that Atlas and Chronicler were wearing yesterday.
I wouldn't say exactly.
Well,
I wouldn't say exactly.
it's close enough. I'd say, maybe 90% similarity here. As we are into the draft for game number 3, as Caitlyn, which was totally ignored in game number 1, to the chagrin of many a viewer, it will be banned first.
Maokai is out. Expect Rise will join here in the red side bans for KT. Oh, Hanwha doing this again. Just really fishing for something else. I think they're looking for the Yuumi first pick, it looks like. And with Lucian ban, seems very likely. Just kind of running it back here like what we saw in game 1 with the exception of that Caitlyn ban. Let's see.
Any Elise banners?
I don't think you need to ban Elise here on red side against red side.
Okay, the Ashe
that
will
one
be
we
banned.
knew was, like, one of these 2 teams has to do it, or Hana Life are picking it. There's the Yuumi ban. Okay, so this is going to look very different now.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the Varus call.
Yeah, just a couple of bans different can change everything. The entire universe will be changed.
Because if you go for Varus here, your enemy now has to think about what lane he wants to play into, because he can't play any of the Yuumi lanes. Obviously, the Yuumi Sivir, Yuumi Zeri, tough. Tough anyways with Varus Karma, with Varus Heimer. But with the Yuumi gone, it's like, do you really want to play Lulu into Varus? Sounds like you're going to have a terrible time. So this is the time to pick Karma, if there's going to be one.
Well,
All
they didn't
right.
ban Elise.
Well,
But like you said, you know, this is red side for KT.
it's also the bottom lane that's going against the Varus, so it can only be Elise punishing an overextension in lane, probably. Maybe you go Elise Karma here and you wait and see what jungle matchup you're going to get.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think Hanbok can pilot it really well. There's still ways to get wins, even from the red side on this pick. You would imagine they would go for their bot lane. As you're mentioning, the Karma, it will be Heimerdinger. Perhaps not wanting to go against Varus Heimerdinger, and they want some power in the lane themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the reverse can be stronger. It can be strong here too, where now Duro plays the Karma, but we definitely would have liked to have the Heimerdinger on the Varus side if you could. The Karma's still very strong. You can block some of those Qs with the Heimerdinger turrets too, so it feels good into the Karma. This Elise is going to be really interesting. I wonder if KT will pick up Renekton now, actually, in the first phase.
Whoa.
And just, like, skip a rung.
I mean, it would make their top side pretty insane.
Because what do you play AD carry-wise with this Heimerdinger now? Heimerdinger Ezreal is not really a thing. You can play Heimerdinger Zeri. We saw it a lot.
Zeri. Jin?
Jin? Okay, Jin is a good call.
Yeah.
Jin had kind of slipped my mind, to be honest. Jin very good with Elise too. Can follow up the damage very easily.
I liked your Renekton pick. I think I would have rathered that. I think that teams are just kind of scared to not pick their bottom lane in the first 3, which is also understandable, but I don't know. It would have been a really scary top lane duo, and I think Homalife would have struggled to find an answer, especially because KT could have banned 2 safe top laners, you know?
It's really interesting too because they ban the Renekton now themselves, even though they have pick priority. So clearly they had no interest in playing Renekton Elise whatsoever. This could be an Irelia angle, potentially, here, because you have the Elise magic damage, right? And you have the ability to set up for it really well. Really strong side laning for Castle, or Feisty if he wants to play it mid, but I would not be shocked if this ends up being an R5 or Irelia type game for KT Rolster, considering the Jin in this draft, because you have really hard engage from, obviously far away for the Irelia, then the Jin can follow up so easily.
Would have been nice for them to have a Renekton, you know, but
yeah, I mean, I mean, that's part of why I'm thinking about it is like, well, I mean, they banned the Renekton, so maybe they want the Irelia here.
Yeah, something that would normally get kind of bodied by the Renekton. You might be onto something. Kassadin, banned again. Poor guy can never be not banned.
Okay, it's just going to be Jax, though. Lame. Unless mid Irelia, which could happen, but I don't think you want Jax
I don't
Irelia
really
on the same team.
understand this when there's a Cassante right there. Like, what?
Valdez is a Jax hater also.
I don't get it. Like, what? There's so many things that can play into the Jax right now.
They could have picked Fiora, too.
That can work in the lane, that can work in the entire game. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. And now, like, with the Jax face up, which is generally a pretty safe counter pick in some games, it just allows Homalife to build a really sound composition.
Yeah, I think Swain is really good into a Jax comp like this, and he can push through the turrets, but I think if there's a really good setup here for KT, Swain can be just totally bowled over, especially when you consider an Azir pick. The laning phase is going to be pretty easy for Feisty here, and then you could just knock Swain out of the equation at the beginning of a team fight. The execution, I think, of KT's draft is much harder than Hanwha Esports. They have a Swain, he's going to press R, he's going to walk at them, he's going to look for some roots. You have Sejuani, you can try to set up for the Varus, so Varus gets the Sejuani set up here with Swain going in and grabbing with the Never move.
Yeah.
He does that damage, you blow somebody up.
Definitely has to be on hit Varus here, I would say. If you're going lethality, you're probably going to run out of damage outside of burst. Like, you can't rely on a Swain to do all the damage, you know?
Yeah, I do think so. Unless they want to just super try to speed through the game and win super early, but I don't think you can do that into a Jax Heimerdinger comp. You're going to have side lane problems against the Jax. You're going to have Heimerdinger can slow the game down quite significantly. Plus Azir's side laning too, which is quite nice here into the Swain and sides. I do think that it's going to be the on-hit, and I do think Hanwha, if this game is played at a pretty slow pace and they can deal with some of the Elise pressure early, I like their draft better because it's easier. And That's always what I say about weaker teams, right? Now, both of these teams are on the upper echelon of challengers, but we're still not talking about LCK level.
Yeah, very true. And I mean, I believe that Roamer can hit his stuff on the Swain as well, because if you're constantly hitting never moves, that Swain becomes less of an annoyance and more of a big problem for you. So it'll be interesting to see. I think, you know, Jin will be okay with what they had draft. I really would have loved if they went for the Renekton and like another decent, you know, kind of engaged champion in the mid lane. Instead, they did kind of neither.
They did like the opposite. It was very strange.
Yeah. So the Jin kind of loses value there, but hey, I mean, maybe they're just really confident to play the Jax this time around, and it is what it is. We'll see if it works out this time as Game 3 starts now.
Got a group versus the Heimer to remove those turrets. Set up the level 2 faster down here. Get some control for your Karma lane. Very common stuff here, chat.
I guess Lure is actually going for lethality.
Well, Comet start does lean that way. The Scorch here.
Well,
bit of a scorcher.
They're really going to try to dunk on the lane, I suppose. And that's fine. I just think as the game comes along, they're really going to be lacking damage.
We have seen a lot of Relic Shield Karma instead of the Spell Thief's Edge recently, I've noticed. Someone in my Twitch chat was talking to me about this when I was streaming and talking about the games a few days ago. And I looked back at it, and I suppose it's just for extra sustain in the lane, because the Spell Thief's going to give you mana regen, the Relic is going to give you HP regen, and obviously the deletion of those minions. So you can push to level 2 really fast, but this is just going to be the harass variant with double Comet here. That one didn't hit.
What was that?
Hey, he's pushing the minions, man. He's rushing level 2. He's rushing level 2,
I guess so.
He's rushing level 2. Watch those cannon minions go down real quick here in a second. Look at this. Look at him go. Lure. Ooh.
Sorry, cannon.
Oh, sorry. Ranged minions. Ranged minions. Look.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're cannons if they believe, man. Those wands they shoot with.
Yeah, like how many years does a ranged minion have to put in to become a cannon minion? They also have to not die during that time.
Yeah?
I'd say probably at least 7 years.
7 years?
Like some of the ranged minions from Season 3, as Duro's going to flash here. Yeah, some of the range minions from Season 3 are now cannon minions.
Like, every range minion is a cannon minion in my mind. They're just shooting.
Are cannon minions range minions?
Yes. Do you think cannons are hitting melee?
Sometimes, I mean, they're shooting their little bullet from very close
this
by.
one practically is with the wave control he's got.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes the first level 3 gank from the Elise.
Okay, okay, nice try. I mean, it looks silly because it doesn't work, but had he flashed, it would have looked really, really cool. I think that Hambak should have just jumped on him first and attacked and then waited for the flash and then cocooned, because Azir could follow up, you can follow up with some range damage.
Definitely could have played that one out a little bit better. The other weird thing is, like, the Elise, you could see that the Elise trying to gank a Swain is a symptom of the draft. Guan, hello?
Uh-oh, Guan in a lot of trouble here. He's going to take a ton of damage. Probably going to have to flash away from this one. Straight into the arms of the Karma. But now that is 3 flashes already gone on the side of Hamel Life Esports at 3.5 minutes.
So, the Elise picks up some big value here in the early game. Obviously, Hambak is proving that it doesn't matter if it necessarily is perfect for the comp or he doesn't have the best gank assist with a Renekton or stuff like that. Still going to make it work. Still going to pick up some early summoners. But I think the way he's using it, where he's just kind of fishing, so to speak here, I think in a game where the comps are stronger and the level of play is a little bit higher, I think you're not going to be able to find as much value out of it. But I appreciate that he's making it work.
Oh no, Roamer.
No flash.
Oh, he's going to dodge it. Is the damage enough from the Heimer and the Elise? The stun gets in onto the Elise, but it is Elise. And the dives are clean. Guan can do nothing. And first blood is given to Feisty.
All right. Hambak making it happen. Sick dodge. They're not going to be enough ultimately at the end. And Hambach has been everywhere where someone is unsafe. Like, he just is following the danger.
It's the most annoying Elise to play against.
There's a control ward he wants to place here, and he gets punished for it super hard. Good dodge. There's just enough damage. Doesn't get hit by the grenade either, but the full W damage here is enough. Will, of course, force a flash from Feisty, but still absolutely worth. Good angle and good roam from Rebel, too, because without his damage, that's not possible.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a great call from the side of KT. They're getting really aggressive. It worked for them in Game 2, so just follow up and play similarly in Game 3. Even if their draft isn't quite the same, they still have Elise. It was first pick on red side. I mean, these guys were not joking, essentially, with their actions when they said, hey, this Elise has a lot of value to us. We're going to first pick it before anything else. And Hambach has made that a reality. It's very difficult to play against a guy who's playing Elise this well.
Yeah, Hambach basically makes Elise look like she could have been viable a long time ago, instead of just being viable with level 3 dives on blue side, where you have a Lucian Nami pushing or a Varus lane pushing with Ashe. Or punishing, of course, one of these lanes. He's finding value against the Swain. He's finding value against the enemy Sejuani. He's looking for aggressive fights no matter where he is, or no matter what level he's at right now, what items he has. It's just like, I'll fight all the time. Anybody who wants to encounter me in the early game, I'm looking for everything. And again, not the reason why Elise is meta right now, but in this game, he's proving that she can be quite viable.
And here she goes again. Hambach's back in the mid lane. She's
Still no
really
flash.
quick.
Roamer's trying to push up. He has level 6, so it feels like if Feisty tries to engage, he can push, but yeah, doesn't commit.
Still Hambach gets in there, clears the ward away. Still no flash for Roamer, as you mentioned. And it feels like KT may have been able to fight over this one, but perhaps they're not happy with their bot lane state at this point in time. Nice trade back, though, as tons of damage on the Duro. Match25 just going to hit the wave as Hambach is here again. Just can't get rid of this spider. Just keeps running away.
Guon here going to have to turn up the rest of his squad.
Trying to like hit him with skill shots. He's like, yeah, cool story. Just dodges literally everything. As now we do have Roamer up in his ult. He's going to get a decent amount of value, but not quite enough. Hype in a little bit of trouble as the Comet comes in, and he will just barely skirt away. And Guon is left alone. Everybody else just runs away. Roamer doesn't have his ult anymore. He can't help him. The bottom lane chase the Hype 80 carry. And so they get a kill and this first Drake to KT.
Yeah,
pretty massive.
It's massive. It's a huge turn in this early game. And Hambach just is like, I repel? So what are you going to do? Instantly turns, gets Roamer with the cocoon. Feisty just can't follow him, man. Feisty's like a little bit too slow.
Yeah.
Feisty can rob some POGs, but
like
he's not going to follow the CC.
It's like the ult comes out 3 seconds later. It's like, what? What is this guy doing?
Feisty is basically Hambach is like Feisty's a fraud, man, with that POG in game 2. Just can't follow the action. Hype almost shows some scorch value there by going down, but he just narrowly escapes.
Yeah. I feel like it wasn't a bad time for Hanwha Life to fight. It's just like
they were
Hambach,
so disjointed, though.
Yeah, Hambach just made them look silly. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh crap, we can't lock down the Elise that we just used like 7 of our skill shots on. What do we do? And then the bottom lane just like ran away. And Rover's like, wait, why am I alone now? It was very strange. It was very Challenger-esque, that kind of fight. It didn't look very clean. And I think KT are just, again, they're more confident. They're making less mistakes. Hambach is playing like a god.
Here's that Elise dive.
A man possessed, I should say. Lure is just dead. I mean, they cannot handle the spider. They can.
Oh.
But they will get the Rift Herald.
Look at the Rift Herald, and that attempt from Guon was very greedy, right on the Drake, but I think they thought, okay, we're losing control of this game fast. Maybe I can sneak this, and he's like, I'm Sejuani. Maybe I get away with it. Doesn't want to flash there at the end. Does die, but he's trying his best to set something up here, take a risk, put Hanwha Life on the map, buy 5 minutes of extra time here as KT have such a massive lead, but when that goes wrong, and yes, they do get the Herald, but where will they be able to place it? Look at bottom side, top side, Jack's going to get control of Swain. How does he get value out of this, you know? Like, picking up the Herald feels like it's just local gold from the Herald right now that you're really getting. They can find a place to put it, but it's going to cost them resources to do so.
Yeah, it's nothing compared to what KT got, right? I mean, they'll be able to put it where they want, I suppose, so that might feel better if they really want to get Roamer fed or something like that, but Yeah, it's a rough time for them. And guess what? Hambach is here again. He's level 6. He's stacking up levels. Lure is going to be in a lot of trouble. Cleanses early, it looks like. Not sure, but either way, Chains of Corruption going to Hambach.
Walks right as well.
He's trying to save Duro because he knows he's just absolutely boned.
Yeah,
like, what are you going to do?
He's like, just get out, man.
Witness me as he runs into them. Yeah.
Oof. This is actually kind of scary where he backs there too. Like Hambach comes over there with another cocoon and he dies. Duro's just taking the greedy back. And look at the deep vision they have here around the bottom side of the map as well. Blast cones into where he already has a control ward set. Can't be here, Lure. Grenade. Bam. Cleanse missed.
Yeah, he cleansed early. It was like nearly 1 frame early, but it was early.
I honestly think even if he cleanses that, he probably ends up dying. But
yeah,
it's obviously with the miss, 100% chance he dies. But it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you're like, well, he made a mistake, but ultimately, I don't think it probably mattered that much.
Jeez, some shots in the chat. I mean, that's not even like I want to call it toxic, but I'm like, man,
too real, perhaps.
Yeah, like too real. Just here for LCK.
Man, Clid's always catching strays. I think Clid had a... We'll talk about the LCK for a second. I think Clid had a pretty good final game of the week against Gen.G. A little bit of redemption. You guys got to stop being so hard.
You know.
Look, was it amazing? No. And is there still a lot to work on? Yes. And did we expect more? Yes. But stop dunking on the guy. Like, he's had a tough start to the season.
Yeah.
I think he'll bounce back. And he already kind of is.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I win.
What? No, I was doing it until the recall finished.
Oh, okay.
That was just my recall sound.
I just wanted to do it longer than you.
Well, you did start before me and end after me, so I suppose you do win. What is going on here in the mid lane? What is
plates
this?
are going down.
Like free plates?
Yeah.
What is this, like the plate giveaway store? What is going on here?
He backed. They were up in mid, and he doesn't have TP. So they're like, well, we just push this, and finally this Herald will get dropped here. Some extra money going over to Lure. But now Guwon has to shadow this lane. It's a free back for Feist. He gets the T-pin with that extra plate gold. He has his Leandries now. The macro falling apart a little bit here for Hanwha Life.
Yeah, just, you know, Roamer getting poked out. They're trying to set up a Rift Herald push. It just feels like KT are 1 step ahead of them the whole way. And I don't know, like the Sejuani keeps getting picked into the Elise, and I can understand why, but all the time if the Elise is like super proactive and aggressive, it just falls behind and feels like it can't do anything. And I'm not saying, you know, the pick is the issue here, because, you know, I'm not sure. I feel like it has more to do with the way that Hambach is playing and the way that his team is playing around him, a little bit more of a cohesive unit, if you will. But still, I don't know. I'm not certain about the Sejuani.
Like I mentioned before, there's a lot of ways to follow up the Sejuani ult into a pick with the Varus here, and it is lethality, as you mentioned, as soon as we saw the Comet, but that still could be good in the mid game, but they're so far behind now that it isn't going to do much, and it's going to be very unfortunate, especially with the macro plays, or lack thereof, we've seen from Hanwha Life, where they're kind of giving some objectives up and losing control of the map, and then Swain backs at a weird time. He is so far behind where he'd like to be on his Rod of Ages. Like, it's 13.5. He just came off a back, so we might be talking like 14.5. Hopefully not 15. It's not that far behind on CS or anything, so he should be able to get it fairly soon here within the next minute or so. But his timings are so delayed. Feisty's ahead. He went for Leandries so he can harass this lane and win out the side lane against the Swain much easier. It is looking dire, and it's very early in the game to say that, but once again, Hambach has transformed it, and hopefully he doesn't get robbed for POG this time if this continues.
Well, surely not twice in a row. That's impossible. Not like we've seen that. Media Kick W. Yeah, so we're just going to group up here in mid. Once again, Hambach's mere presence is enough to pull Guwon off of the Wolves, get a bunch of damage in here. The mid laner, you know, the Leandries finished. I believe you were just talking about, you know, that mid lane itemization. He is just poking him out of wave, out of lane. The plates were somewhat short up by the Rift Herald, but, you know, it's like very marginal. Just feels a bit like scraps. that they are trying to pick up to try to claw back in this game.
Feisty is just pushing the super. Hambak knows Guan's here. He wants to set up for a cocoon. Look at that. That was so well played by Hambak. He's trying to escort them in to grab this mid turret here. Look at all the Heimer turrets set up as well. And it's basically their way of saying you have to defend this or give us Rift Herald control. And you can't, you basically can't do either well. So we're going to try to split you in half. Jin's coming up now. Hype has such an easy time to follow up on this CC. Feisty holding his ult. This is a very difficult take for Hanwha Life, but they have to try something.
They do have decent, cohesive team fight, but they're not really getting in there as they would like to. The Jax Castle with a great follow-up, and here comes the Swain ultimate. Could get some work done. We got the Varus on the side as well, doing some decent work as Hambak has to flash out of here. He's not going to get in for that one. The smite does come out from the side of Guan, and Castle goes in pretty deep, nearly takes out Rooster, but not quite able to do so. Even the snipe here as, yeah, K'Sante just doing K'Sante things.
Almost pulls that turret in to kill him. Rooster, careful.
Yeah, Hanwha Life, you know, decent fight for where they're at right now.
Hanwha Life don't get the Herald, but they win the fight, quote unquote. We'll be able to grab this turret. So the long-term damage of Heimer turrets, the Azir, and the turn from Castle there to try to actually set up for Counter-Strike damage to secure those kills was so close. Almost good enough here. Because look at the setup in this fight. There's just so much damage. Castle goes in, holds the choke point. Now he can kite back. And Feisty is trying to use his soldiers here to do a bunch of the Andrews damage. Hambak has to repel away here. Roamer's ult pretty lackluster. But look at Feisty. Saves himself with the ult, flashes through. And Castle's play here was so sick until Castle outplayed him, pulled him, or until Rooster pulled him out, outplayed him. They still win the fight and almost take out K'Sante, which is absurd that he lived there. So Rift Herald goes to Hanwha Life. KT still grab turret and win the fight. I think I'd still rather be KT in this case than having a Rift Herald, which is the second Rift Herald. There's no plate gold and no ideal place to drop it. Look at all these turrets around the map. Only top. Vulnerable, you could say. But I don't know if you, I'm like, you could say, I'm like, maybe you can't even say. Like, it's hard to actually force that unless you send multiple people up against this Jax. And later the Azir who will go up to stop that from happening.
Well, this game is getting more interesting now. I was a little bit worried for Hanwha Life there, but they are seemingly clawing their way back. You know, this is that mid-game where we do have an item and a half for Lure, so he is hitting some pretty good shots. It's not like there's a lot of armor to be built on the side of KT, so that's one reason to go for lethality in this case. As it feels like both teams kind of just want to fight. Everybody's just grouping up in mid. It is a little bit early, as the Drake has not spawned yet. We do have a missed Sejuani ultimate.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. That's another tool they're not going to have.
Gonna get hit. He gets never moved, and now he has to go up into the repel. The team is right there to kind of save his butt. She will hop down to safety. Okay, that's a pretty big one as Feisty does get out essentially, but there's no follow-up for Castle. Finally, they get in there as Hype is going to get some huge damage onto Roamer. They do take him out, and now the Jin ultimate does come out in a big way. Snipes after snipes. He's not going to get Duro, as Lure will get some of the scraps, and another snipe coming out from this Jin. Pretty insane plays from the side of Hype, and Rebel has kept him around with the help of Hype. That is an ace at 18 minutes into the game, Wolf.
Hambak with a max range cocoon to take him out there. Feisty living up to his name, shall we say, with that play he went for, where he dashed forward onto
it was pretty
soldier.
Hardcore.
And
it was pretty based.
Right into the, he's like, I'm at 20% of health, and I'm going to go into the full health Varus, who can just shoot me and kill me. But hey, he was trying to actually clean it up faster, put that extra pressure on the Varus. And this is going to be KT winning another massive fight, getting the ace, as you say, and now having soul point on Hex Tech Soul. By the way, we haven't really talked about that, but I don't know if we can really explain to you guys what.
Break it down for us, Wolf.
It's going to be some slows. All right, for the fight, though, Hambak, once again, absorbs a lot. Look at the chains missing here with Repel. Backs off here and is ready to come back into the fight. And then things get really nasty here for Hanwha Life because Feisty doesn't die. He does a ton of damage. And you talked about how without on-hit Varus, there's...
No. He got knocked in by the K'Sante. Counter-Strike 3 people.
And there's just no long-term damage in this fight with the Varus build here, realistically. You can kill Feisty here. And he does. But watch this cocoon. Oh!
What was that sound?
That's how hyped I was.
What was in pain? Oh man. Okay, this teleport is interesting. Castle is just being abused now as he's on the run.
But where's the damage? He's like, I'm actually fine.
Yeah.
I'm getting abused, but you guys don't have enough dodging that shot there from the bar. So
That's
now,
the thing.
what are you going to do? Now you have to run. You've used all of your abilities. You've used your ults. You can't actually fight anymore. And KT are like, cool. Baron spawning soon. We're so ahead. Maybe we could actually try. I don't think it's advisable, but
Not
I
with
mean,
the Jhin. I mean, they have a Azir.
they have Heimer too, but I just don't think
Elise
he do
is
it.
pretty good on Baron damage. I think there's like a world, you know, if they have enough time. Jack's
Yeah.
also good.
They're just going to go take top turret here. And if Gorn wants to stop them, they will regret it.
Yeah, definitely the better play.
Lure is so scared.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like Hype is currently performing better than his counterpart. I would also say that Hambach is just getting away with way too much in this early to mid game and just kind of playing like a madman.
I also didn't realize that Hype built Collector second. It's just one of those. It's one of those games where you look at the build and you're like, if you take away the gold graphs and you like are looking at the game state, or you don't know the game state, you just see these items, you're like, that's not right. That's not supposed to happen. It has happened before, but that doesn't make it okay.
What's he gonna buy now?
But then you look at the result, he's just gonna build IE.
Yeah.
But you look at the game state and you're like, no, actually, this might be correct. Like, this is just going to snowball this game even harder. You have so much more damage with your, or you have so much more kill power with your ult and your crits, where everybody's so squishy in this comp for Life Esports. They don't have any damage. And you can even kind of get on top of Lore after he uses his abilities, because he's not going to beat you. You just pop him with the big damage crit into Gale Force. See you later.
And they're kind of setting up, or at least denying all the vision they can around this Baron. You know, I feel like as I went through member by member of KT after the Jhin, I was like, oh, and he's good at Baron damage, and she's good at Baron damage. Guwon just kind of goes over. It seemed like they smelled the weak Heimerdinger alone. They were able to take him out pretty much for free.
Yeah, Jax.
So now Home Life Esports coming in together.
Jax has no TP, so he needs to either commit to the split push here or come over. This is a nice Baron take potentially.
They're going to try to get the Swain here for free, as Roamer will not die yet, as the snipe is there, and Hype cannot miss. The guy is just insane. They may have just finally gotten Hambach. He's going forward, nearly takes out the Varus himself, as unfortunately for Rooster, he was alone. Everybody else was dealing with that dang spider.
That dang spider.
That gosh darn spider. It really does feel like that.
I mean,
It's just been so annoying.
Hambach is when he's ahead like this, and you have the map control and the vision control that KT have. Hambach is quite literally like that spider in your house that you couldn't kill and it got away, and you're like going to bed at night like, well, it's still out there, like it's still in the house, you know. That's Hambach in this game. Now he did die this time, but he's coming back, and this is like you injured the spider, but you still know it's out there. As Roamer, rooted, ulted here. They have no turn. He's so far away with this rotation from the rest of his team doing Baron. Once again, just not patient enough. Or Honda Life Esports, so they really need to rush this down if they're going to get it. And he gets punished, takes a ton of damage while he's doing so, but Cassante is on the wrong side of an Azir turret. And this game is just another one-sided one, honestly, of our three we've had.
Yeah, it does feel that way. They were finally able to take down Elise. She has a stopwatch now.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's going to be dying again in this game, although could be interesting if I'm proven wrong in that fact.
TP from Azir.
Yep, Hextech Drake alive.
Yep, he just picked up his Shadow Flame and an Oblivion Orb.
Okay, Guwon trying to make this happen, trying to burst down Feisty. He just flashes away from pretty much everything. They are able to get his flash down. Teleport coming in from Castle, as he's a little bit scared after the way the last one went. That is a massive never move. Hambach does have to use that stopwatch. And so that will be down for the fight, but man, Hype is just doing way too much on this Jhin. It's going to be 3 shots, 4 shots into the Karma to push them away.
Roamer looking for another angle for a never move. Almost able to cut them off, but just doesn't have the vision to do it.
He has his ult and exhaust.
they're on a timer here. The streak is going down very fast. It's Hextech Soul, so they actually need to get in here.
They might be able to take down Rebel. He takes a big chunk of damage. Castle still on the backside. Did they even see him? I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, that's going to be the secure on the Hextech, and now Castle's got that flank angle. And take a look at the damage from the Hextech, just lightning arcing onto everybody. So Hanwha Life Esports are like, yeah, I think I've had enough. I'm just going to run away now.
Gonna have to run fast.
Yeah, they're getting chased down here. The Chains of Corruption will max range Feisty as there is another Cocoon. Hambach, he knows he's got his team to back him up, and there's the Jin. Just so fast, just able to Gale Force in. And what are you gonna do against that? They just cannot get away from this chase down comp. Even the Cassante, well, he's gonna get a kill because, you know, he is Cassante, but he will die at the end of it as Rebel will clean them up.
Rebel with the final kill there. Now they're just gonna go over and do Baron. Nothing that Roamer could do. He's TPing bottom side here to try to prep this wave for what is going to be a very successful Baron power play here. 10 kills up, 7,000 gold up here at 25 minutes.
I'm split, Wolf. I don't know who to vote for POG anymore. There are two clear favorites.
Hype and Hambach?
Yeah.
I'm kind of still leaning towards Hambach, but
he has had an insane game.
This is the collector.
Playing like an Hype is playing like an absolute god.
That's the collector Gale Force I was talking about, where you just go, all right, crit, Gale Force in, goodbye. This is so nasty, and Castle, Counter-Strike doesn't last forever, so he does go down, but it's a full wipe minus Rooster, or Roamer, excuse me, who is trying to take a bounty turret. He pushed that wave out for the Baron buff, and is actually going to pick up some extra gold himself down there on the bottom side of the map, so fairly successful there. His Rod of Ages is finally done. Fully stacked now. He does hit level 15, so matching Feisty there, but I mean, it's a turret for a turret, but this is a more valuable one that has Baron buff minions pushing with it. They should be able to, the 4-1 and the Jax, take one of these inhibitors down, worst case scenario.
Oh boy. Yeah.
You got to split, and you will not be able to defend both without a heroic play.
And at this point in the game, doesn't feel like the damage is quite there for Hanwha Life Esports. I mean, they would need to get a lot of pokes in.
It's Cosmic Drive and Rod of Aegis on the Swain. He's just utility really in this fight, and not the best version of utility you could have. You know, we've seen all sorts of different builds with Rylai's in the past with the Swain, but this one is just not going to be that useful. Hitting level 15 here, not going to be great. Level 16, when he hits it, it's going to make his ult better, but what will that even mean really in this draft with these items? Not a whole lot, unfortunately. The Swain's a good idea.
Oh man.
Nice.
Yeah, that's going to be big, but Feisty might just be comboed to death. Wow, get Cassante immediately as in goes Rooster with a very nice pickup onto a very important member of the side of KT. Now, KT are still fighting this as the Jin is just so massive. And now we don't have an AD carry on the side of Hanwha Life Esports, which means that Castle is still going forward. He's got the Jin behind him, so he's like, yeah, I'm totally fine. And he is just a wrecking ball himself. He is one-tapping people. He's got his own stasis. And it looks like KT don't care how many members there are on the side of Hanwha Life Esports. They will just continue to push.
And you had to make a play there if you're Hanwha Life. You had to try something. You did get the pick onto Feisty, but it cost you everything. It cost you your entire base here.
Look at this Jin damage.
Yeah, it's insane. 6,000. You know that meme about Jin tricking you into thinking he's an AD carry? Well, in this game, he like actually really is, and he's doing so much burst damage in these fights. He has rapid fire cannon and Whisper. He's doing 25,000 damage this game. I don't know. I'm sorry, Hambach, but I think it might be the hype vote this time around.
I don't know. I'm torn. Like, Hambach did so much for them in the early game.
The follow-up here from Rooster, the timing of his Q3 is perfect when he gets the dragon, and even with the old attempt here from Feisty, not going to be enough. And yet still they chase deep here. And this is where things become problematic, because you have a Jin who's got so much damage.
Another Cocoon.
And Roamer, he's probably DED.
Yeah, I don't know why he's there. Bit of a mistake.
I think he's lost his mental
maybe he's just trying to take like a really big risk because they're so far behind. He's like, what if they just don't gank me? Maybe I can get some slight amount of value. doesn't work
he's
out.
building a Zonia's as his third item, which unfortunately isn't really going to help him here either. I don't like this. I don't like this Swain build. The more I look at it, I think it probably wasn't the right call. Like the pick, but oh man, he's just flashing for it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
He's just trying to like increase CC score. He's like, maybe they'll vote for me now if I have 250 CC score.
All right, Valdez, how about this? How about a compromise? Don't tell the Korean casters, but I'll vote for Hype. You vote for Humbok. That way we split our vote.
Sure, that's fine.
We'll leave it up to them, which
I think that's
has
okay.
been, you know, overall pretty good. I think they made the right choice most of the time.
I think 2 votes for Humbak is also safe.
All right, fine. We'll vote for Humbak Valdez.
Yeah.
He got robbed in game 2
He did
anyways.
get robbed in game 2.
He got robbed.
And like ethically, we should vote on this POG based on their performance in this game. But like, the guy was killing it in game 2, and now he's like rolled it into killing it even more in game 3. Like that's got to count for something, right?
But I mean, look at the damage.
Look at the boom boom.
I mean, but like, look at his kill score as well. He's secured so many kills. He's 10, 0, and 8.
He's 18 out of 19 kill participation.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it, I think.
No.
And I know it's a chicken and egg thing, and Humbug is definitely the egg.
Yeah.
But
no, he's the chicken.
But no, but
Does
he was
lay the
laid.
egg?
But he was laid by Humbug. Like Humbug laid the egg of. Oh, sorry, I said hype.
Yeah,
yeah.
You said the opposite. We're on the same page here.
It's
no.
late. It's late.
Oh, no! Okay, maybe we have to vote for hype. I think actually we have to vote for hype now. I don't think we can. Yeah, I don't know.
Just let him kill the Nexus, Hanwha. It's too much. It's too much.
Cover your eyes. This is pretty gross.
It's too brutal.
No!
It's
Maybe
too
Kasante
brutal.
can still get a kill? Kasante can still get a kill! How does he do it? He's a madman. Feisty gonna keep the wave alive. And that's gonna do it. 12-0 and 10 Jin, and I think Hype's gonna get it. I don't think there's any avoiding this.
Oh man.
As down will go the Nexus.
They should both get it,
And KT just wiped the floor with them in game 3. I mean, that was crazy. Hype was crazy, man. That Jin was terrifying.
No, he was the egg.
He didn't miss anything.
Hype was the egg that was laid by Humbug. But man, when he becomes a chicken, as he did it when he was like 10-0 and 8 there at the end, I think even higher, like 12-0 and 9 or something. He does end up being more impactful. So I don't know what to say about this one. I didn't like the Elise that much in the draft because of how I was worried about how the bottom side was going to go and how little power was going to have in lane. Yeah, there's some power obviously against Swain and mid. And that is where Humbug came online, right? He was constantly punishing the Swain pick there over and over again, getting his flash early, returning, constantly ganking. We saw that roam up from Rebel, who was honestly like kind of almost a candidate for POG himself. And then really good macro and objective setup here for KT Rolster. Both of these teams looked really good.
Clean KT 2-0, nothing to see here. Yes, including the one win that Hanwha Life did get.
Which was also a one-sided game.
That. Yeah, doesn't count. I mean, that was like bullying at the end. Like they were just rocking them. Like that was not fair.
Yeah, who came first, the Humbug or the Hype? That's the
yeah,
the timeless question.
It's a unanimous vote. Nobody voted for Humbug. I was worried. I was like, what if the Korean casters all vote for Humbug? Because, like, let's get it clear. His early game was also really crazy. Like, he created so much for the mid lane. He got down to the bottom lane, got a ton of kills down there, or set up a bunch of kills. Set up so much for the Jin to get ahead. But also at the same time, like, even before Hype was ahead, he was also not missing a single skill shot.
No, he was consistent.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not... The last game felt like it was 100% Humbug to me compared to this one, and like this one still felt good for Humbug. It just feels like Humbug's not going to get the recognition he deserves. He's not going to be in the interview, even though he played at least in a comp where it didn't necessarily make sense. 200% damage per gold. Like, I'm taking a picture of this.
Look at his CC score. I was making memes about Humbug's CC score. This guy has 33 on Jin, or 33 what? 314. I don't know where the 33 came from. The depths of my mind. Wolf is actually just taking pictures right now. That's how you know this was a hype Jin performance.
I mean, this is insane. It's a one-sided game, and Jin is just doing pew-pew shoot from the behind the scenes by the end of it.
Like, never missed anything.
A lot of those ending moments were really just him having fun. But like the stats here reflect how dominant he was and how many opportunities he had to even pad them further at the end of the game. He's picking up collector gold. He's doing everything he needs to do. 1,000 damage per minute on Jin.
Yeah, there was one mention of like, well, he got kind of spoon-fed. I think that a little bit, like that got the engine rolling, and then hype just showcased like some of the best Jin play I've ever seen. So like, true, it was kind of a team performance, and that's why we were saying like, man, Hanbok was insane. I really wanted to vote for Hanbok like up until like maybe 5 minutes before that game ended, and it just ended up that hype kind of, you know, even outside of the ult kills, he was like hitting deadly flourishes. He was also like gale forcing forward at the exact right times to get the, you know, the execute kills and stuff.
Right after his crit hits, like when
really
he's out
play.
of ammo, he's going in with the gale force to grab the kill, get the execution with the collector. He also played really well with his team. His shoes are making sounds. Hopefully you guys can't hear that.
I hope you can. Squeaky boots wolf over here.
So he plays behind aiming right now in terms of like where the hierarchy is, and could be subbed in if aiming is sick, for example. He used to have a different name, Hype did, and I actually had it written down in my notes last time we watched KT play. I'm going to actually look it up right now because he used to be called something else. You guys might recognize him.
We do have time because there's an interview going on, and if you can speak Korean, feel free to go over and take a look and try to listen in.
King Kong, that's right. He used to be called King Kong. So he's got a bit of a reputation in Korea because he's played on a few different teams. He was on Sandbox before this, changed his name to Hype when he moved into
King
KT.
Kong to Hype.
Yeah.
I kind of like King Kong better.
King Kong doesn't sound like an 80 carry name, though, does it? It sounds like a top laner's name.
Yeah, or a mid laner, strangely. It's like a solo laner name.
Yeah.
King Kong. I mean, I guess it could be a jungler because of Wukong, but...
Yeah, so he plays behind aiming, right? So there's not a great chance for him to move into KT's roster at the moment because aiming is aiming, and I don't need to say anything else, but I could see a world in which he moves into teams that need a better performing 80 carry player. I also could see a world where if aiming starts underperforming in any way, especially if KT look like they're not going to make playoffs or something, where he gets some opportunities, some experience in the LCK. This win with a +1 that they gain actually ties T1, if I'm not mistaken, for second place. So KT, T1, tied for second. Some telecom war potential.
No, they are one game score behind T1. If Hamalife won with a 2-1, they would be tied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I thought KT only had 4 points and Hanwha had 3.
It's still very good. A win's a win.
So just 1 point behind T1, but
gets them closer.
I don't think we had our telecom war for challengers yet. It might have been on a day that nobody was casting.
Yeah. I don't think so. But I'm not sure. We do have the match list here as well.
I'm actually looking.
Since we have like about 7 years.
We're checking chat. There's a lot of papers.
Nope. They have not fought yet.
Okay, I didn't think so.
They will fight on Thursday, actually. This Thursday.
Well, we won't be able to cast it, but
yeah,
you guys can check out some other co-streams, some of the Korean co-streams for that one, maybe.
Is Feisty better than BDD? Do you think? I would say still no.
No, I don't think so.
Not yet. I mean, BDD's still good. Like, he's not quite Gen.G semifinals good, but he's still a very strong player, and he's still part of the reason why his team is, you know, getting opportunities at all.
Yeah.
He played well in their last win.
Yeah, his Rise is really good. He got to play that one once. Probably the last time he's going to play it on this patch. So, I think he's very good. I think BDD, because of his time on Nongshim, where he really struggled, a lot of people have just, like, created this sort of weird narrative that he's just not good now. Like, yeah, but I saw him last year and he wasn't good, so even though he just played amazingly and won the game and got POG, like, I still think he's bad because he was bad once. And was he bad on Nongshim, or was Nongshim a weak team? I think Nongshim was a weak team. Like, yeah, BDD, he did not play well He specifically mentioned in interviews that he had a lot of problems with long COVID, essentially, and brain fog and stuff like that. So he looks like he's mostly returned to form. I personally think BD still has a lot left in the tank. I don't think he's retiring anytime soon. And I think he's pretty good. I'm not trying to say this guy who asked if Feisty is better than BDD is actually throwing shade, but
no.
There are a lot of BDD shade throwers right now.
He also said probably not, right? So.
Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't see
Maybe
that part.
just try Hambach on the main roster. I mean, I don't know. It's hard because like what we see
sounds like a possibility.
It definitely could be. The thing is, I feel like still this is like a challenger matchup. It's 1 best of 3. Like he looks really great for sure. Like he obviously has a lot of talent, but like who knows how he would perform on an LCK stage. Like that's, maybe he deserves a shot. I could definitely sign off on that, but does he deserve to be an LCK mainstay? I don't know. He needs that shot first.
Yeah. So just recapping the move in standings here. As I mentioned, KT 1 game behind. I incorrectly thought they were tied, but 1 game behind T1 here at 4 games. Nongsha moving up to 4th with a 3-2 scoreline, and Hanwha with the loss actually just behind them at 3-game wins. And Fredit Brion, or formerly Fredit Brion, I still do this sometimes, Brion.
It just flowed so well, didn't it?
It was a good name.
Yeah.
But they're at 0-5. Have still yet to win a game here in Challengers this season. We'll see if that changes in the coming days, but there's still a lot good to say about Brion. It's just the mid-game where things fall apart that needs to be adjusted. Communication just not really there, seemingly.
Yeah, definitely still needs some time, especially because after game 1 where they already looked a little bit not very confident, they also just kind of looked crushed after that game 1 and didn't look great in game 2 either. So definitely pretty rough. As if you guys do want to catch some of the Korean co-streaming that is going on, you can search for Hojin and Shai. We'll be co-streaming some of that.
Yeah, Shai casting or co-streaming / casting the Telecom War on Thursday, so that'll be around
LCK start time.
Yeah.
Go on that multi-Twitch.
Yeah.
Or that multi-YouTube, if that's
Multi-Africa, question mark?
Multi-Africa.
I don't know where they're streaming these, but you guys will be able to find
streaming platform. And here is the matchup. Here are the matchups for next week.
Ooh, you and I are going to cast a D plus Kia game finally versus KT Rolster, too. That's actually a pretty hype matchup, honestly. We'll see if KT is coming off a win after their Telecom War. Same with T1 versus Hanwha Life. So these matches, the first 2 are pretty slick.
Yeah.
I think I'd give the edge to Nongshim in the Kwangdong match, but still a big Courage fan myself, so see how he plays it out.
Yeah, and then on Tuesday, Bro versus DRX and Gen.G Global Academy versus Live Sandbox Youth. Not the top of the table on Tuesday, but you guys can have fun trolling out Atlas and Chronicler at least. That'll be fun. I'll be there.
Also, because DRX have had such a rough season, can definitely hope that maybe Brion takes their first game win, at least in that series.
So we have some slight changes to the schedule. The second and third series, or just the second series if there is only 2, will start earlier. So a little bit like the LCK.
If those games finish on time,
yes,
because they very rarely do. So this probably won't affect you too much if you're planning on watching the whole show, like our hardcore viewers I see in the chat every day. But it is important to note. So if you wanted to watch only the second one or third one, then maybe tune in a little bit earlier just to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you guys are here. Yeah, should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. But that's pretty much it, Wolf. That's pretty much the show.
That's the show.
We did it.
Thanks, guys.
Wait, really?
Oh,
wait, are we actually done? Should we just leave now?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Whew.
Wait until
I saw Atlas close at the end of yesterday, and that was, I thought we were doing some of that, the mic drop.
No, just, no, we had an easy day today, all right? I don't want to ever pretend like today was hard or that I even could fathom what they experienced yesterday.
Not yet. You and I will have our 9-game day.
Monday is coming. Some good games too.
It could be.
I hope it's a 9-game.
I don't know if KT can take a game off of DK. That's the one I'm like, I don't know if that'll happen. The other 2 matches I think easily could be 3 games. But DK are just kind of a different kind of beast.
Lucid and Hambach in the same game, the Elise priority going to go through the roof?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Elise is just really, really good, and Challengers figured it out first. But
follow the Twitch stream, follow YouTube, subscribe.
Make sure to tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Make sure to tell the LCK viewers as well. When we make those Challengers comments on the LCK, make sure you tell them, oh, they're talking about Challengers on Mondays and Tuesdays. We're done here, guys. That's going to do it for the matches today. Hope you did enjoy. We will see you tomorrow. No, yes, tomorrow on the LCK. Goodbye.